Bangladesh 14 without loss. Nice to see some youngsters in the crowd as well. Pretty blustery conditions at the moment as well, so although it's sort of 21, 22 degrees in Rawalpindi, feeling a little bit cooler by the looks of certainly what some of the people in the crowd are wearing, some jackets and things in there. You can see the wind blowing in the trees in the distance as well. So very, very different conditions to what Bangladesh would have faced in the previous game.
Absolutely. I think the players will welcome that, just keeps them a bit cooler, keeps them a bit more comfortable in the field, especially with the bowling later.
Jamieson then will continue. 10 from his first over. On the money, that first delivery. Just outside off. Defended away by Shanto. No run. If you are just joining us, New Zealand did win the toss and decide to have a bowl first. Day-night match in Rawalpindi, of course. Punjab in Pakistan. The home of great Shoaib Akhtar. He's been doing the rounds. He was in Dubai yesterday for the India-Pakistan game. Jamieson squares Shanto up with his next delivery. The outer half of the bat into the offside, no run. Quite a lot of stars out in force yesterday for India-Pakistan. No surprise, really.
No. I do like it when the ex-cricketers sort of like get wheeled out. There's sort of like a totally different vibe. Like I think was it Shekhar Dhawan was wandering around in looking dapper in a suit.
He looks good,
he does, doesn't he? He does, doesn't he?
He still looks in good shape as well, doesn't he? He's not long retired from playing in the IPL, of course. Shanto facing up again and again defends away into the offside for no run. It's been a tentative start for the Bangladesh captain at the top of the order, 1 from 8 so far. Shouldn't be too worried about things. Keep saying, I mean, this is 50-over cricket, very different to T20s. You can build an innings, you can construct an innings. If you look at the way that India have played their ODI cricket in that series against England in the build-up to the Champions Trophy, and in the first 2 matches of this tournament, they've proven that you don't need to just be smashing boundaries, particularly in the middle part of the innings. Next delivery clipped away by Shanto, just backward of square on the leg side. Easy couple of runs.
Well, for a long time that was sort of how Bangladesh liked to play, particularly at home, a boundary and then a couple of singles. You could, easily hit 5, maybe 6 runs and over and put a sort of 250, 300 total on the board and defend that with your spinners. But of late, they've sort of gone the other way. They've played a lot of T20 cricket. We just had the Bangladesh Premier League completed. So I think the mental state of the players still is annoyingly in that kind of T20 mode, which has been a challenge for them to switch with not much practice in between.
Jamieson goes slightly shorter of a length, and that one bounces a little bit more than Shanto was expecting. He negotiates it well into the offside. No run.
Particularly when you're a batter who's not having a good time in that domestic tournament, like Shanto in particular, really struggled this season. Like, he did not find the runs at all during the entire BPL. It's probably quite difficult to kind of separate the two and have that kind of mental separation of your form between the two formats.
16 for none then, Bangladesh. 1 ball left in this 4th over. Jamieson hits him on the thigh pad there. Shanto survives, so 4 overs gone. 16 for none, Bangladesh. We were talking about Mahmudullah being back in the side. I love this first line of his Cricinfo profile. Mahmudullah grew into one of the 5 pillars of Bangladesh cricket.
That's a great phrase.
2010 period of growth and relative success.
The 5 pillars of Bangladesh cricket, that's great.
Yeah, what were the other 4 pillars?
There'll be more Tarts, Mushrika Rahim, Shakib and Tamim with the other 4.
Is that according to you, or is this an official thing? Or?
Well, I said on the BBC now, so I think that confirms it, doesn't it? Yeah, they were the 5 pillars for a long time, and if I'm honest, if I'd hedged my bets, I wouldn't have said Mahmudullah and Mushrika Rahim would be the 2 to sort of be the last 2 standing, if I'm honest. But here we are in 2025, and they are still there in Bangladesh's middle order. That confirms it, doesn't it?
Indeed, and they've been great servants to this team. They've been at the heart of some of their biggest moments in their cricketing history. Tanzid then comes comes down the track to Matt Henry and drives through the covers. Doesn't time it perfectly. There's a chase on towards the boundary. It's Santner who pulls the ball in. And Bangladesh get back for 3 runs. So good cricket all round there. 19 for none.
Tanzania just looks a little more comfortable with the paces this morning. I always enjoy when a batter takes one hand off the bat. There's almost a kind of confidence / complacency about it, but it's always fun to watch.
Just having a little check to see if Santner fielded that ball cleanly. Great piece of work in the end for the New Zealand captain.
Confidence / complacency about it, but it's always fun to watch.
Middle order batter who bowls useful off spin, Mahmudullah, is also one of Bangladesh's best fielders of all time. Mahmudullah, and this is Shanto driving past mid-on for 4. It was in the air for a moment, but wide enough of that fielder inside the ring to get it away for 4. First boundary for the skipper.
And breathe. I think Shanto's looked quite nervous so far this morning. He's not quite sort of realised how to handle these bowlers, and I think the nerves have crept in a little bit, but that will help ease them a lot. He needed a boundary this morning.
So Mahmudullah's numbers put him in the modern group of all-rounders who've aggregated 10,000 runs, 100 wickets. Henry in, and down the track comes Shanto as a wild swipe across the line. Misses everything, and even his opening partner Tanzid at the other end saying, "Skip, what was that?"
That was a lead ahead moment from Shanto, wasn't it? Yes, he got a boundary in the last ball. No, it's not time to lower your guard. So Shanto just needs to remember his own advice, the thing he said to his own team, and stay calm. Play one-day cricket the way you know to play one-day cricket.
Back to Mahmudullah. 10,000 runs, 100 wickets, and 100 catches across international cricket. Pretty good, isn't it? For somebody who comes in sort of lower middle order.
Yeah, I mean,
bowls a bit of useful off spin.
Yeah, he's sort of largely one of Bangladesh's underrated players for a long time.
Henry in, and that's well guided by Shanto down to deep third. It was just outside that off stump. Manages to get it away for a run. 24 without loss, Bangladesh in the 5th over.
There'd be times that actually Mahmudullah and Mushfiq Rahim would find themselves sort of scapegoats for a lot of Bangladesh's losses, and I think that sort of made both those players not shy away from the media, but like just get their head down and concentrate on the game. I remember Mahmudullah, he was dropped from the test team. There was outrage. He was recalled, scored a century, then retired, and that is just sort of player Mahmudullah is. Do you know what I mean? Like, just
what a way to go.
Just Mahmudullah and Mahmudullah things.
Oh, down the track comes Tanzid, and again he has a wild swipe across the line to a short delivery from Henry. It's a little bit quicker from Matt Henry as well, and I think he just saw Tanzid coming. Charged quite early on there. Just a few of them this morning, haven't we? A couple of wild swipes across the line.
Yeah, they're sort of like, I admire the ideology of sort of going for it and attacking, but you need to do it when you're in a position where you can read the bowling, and they've not really done that particularly well so far.
To a steady-ish start, if you look at the scoreboard. Another dot ball to finish off that 5th over. 24 without loss after the first 5. Keep wickets in hand on a track like this, you can really cash in, so they don't want to get too carried away too early on here.
Well, I think that's where the difference is going to be. It's those middle orders. It's where, middle overs. It's where Tawhid Hridoy and Jacker Ali scored their runs the other day. So just seeing out this power play, seeing out the new ball, I think that's going to be key for these two, so that they can set up a decent foundation for the middle order. And I think the middle order is where Bangladesh's strength is at the moment. Once you get Hridoy in, Mahmudullah and Mushfiq, the boys now need to just basically lay a decent foundation on, and they so far have done that, but not without its risks or moments of sort of heart and mouth potential wicket losses.
Just looking at the head-to-head as well, 45 matches. New Zealand have won 33, Bangladesh won 11. This will be the 12th to keep their hopes alive in this competition. Carl Jamieson continues. Another hard length delivery. Turn it off the back foot by Shanto.
Yeah, they're very familiar, these two teams. I think New Zealand is probably the team that Bangladesh have played the most. New Zealand often host Bangladesh. They've come over for the tours and stuff. So this group of players will know their opponent very well, albeit not in these conditions.
First time Bangladesh Pakistan rather, are hosting an ICC competition since 1996. Jamieson in, that's a beauty, past the outside edge of Shanto, drawing him forward into that defensive shot, and then just angling it past the outside edge.
Bangladesh have some famous wins against New Zealand as well, which I imagine will have been spoken about in the dressing room, just for a bit of motivation, just a bit of inspiration. Despite them being quite some time ago, but you know, I imagine those conversations would have popped up and happened in the dressing room just to give the guys a bit of a boost ahead of this one.
That's the thing, isn't it? Famous wins are okay when you're sort of making your way into international cricket, but with Bangladesh, they love it if a lot of their victories weren't as famous. Another one past the outside edge of Shanto, this one keeping quite low as it passes the bat.
No, you're absolutely spot on. It's so funny, whenever Bangladesh play Australia, somewhere in all the preview articles, they go 2005 Cardiff, and you think, come on, that was 20 years ago. There's got to be something more recent to lean on.
That's the issue, isn't it? Particularly in white ball cricket, but even in Test cricket against the top sides, they haven't had that consistency for recent years of backing up those previous famous wins as they were once, and able to string a series of victories together, or series wins against these big sides away from home in particular. Another hard length delivery from Jamieson, well defended by Shanto.
Yeah, they got a famous win against New Zealand in New Zealand. I think it was in Napier. They bowled New Zealand out for 98 odd. Lost the series 2-1, but it was a moment going on to sort of those pitches and winning. That was a couple of years ago, so it's probably the most recent time they played, actually, I think, outside of ICC tournaments.
24 for none in the 6th over here. Shanto facing up. It's, that one off the inner half of the bat into the leg side. No run. Big shout of no from the skipper, who's 8 from 19. Tanzid at the other end, 16 from 16. 6th over here. It was actually Tanzid who was off to a decent-ish start against India, wasn't he? Run a ball 25, I believe, he finished up on.
Yeah, he looked really fluent, didn't he? He just looked very comfortable in the crease. He played his shots. And got out when unnecessarily, I think, to be honest. I don't think he needed to get out when he got out, but there was a flurry of wickets at the time, and you know, they're falling all around him.
Big Carl Jamieson in. It's fuller delivery, again, well defended. So he's bowled a maiden there, Carl Jamieson. Went for 10 off his first over, 2 off his second, and now a maiden. So getting used to the bowling conditions out there, the pitch conditions in Rawalpindi. 6 overs gone. Bangladesh 24 for none. Must be what, 6'7", 6'8".
Yeah,
broad shoulders.
He's a very powerful bowler. He seems to have got the measure of the pitch there, having been hit for 10 in the previous one. Pitch also looking slightly more greener than I was expecting from some of the angles I'm seeing now. Just a little touch of almost a glaze that's been described as. Perhaps something in the offering for the quicks.
Just that sheen it's got on the surface there. We'll talk about the size of Carl Jamieson, but he's not scary like some fast bowlers when they're 6'7", 6'8". Henry, short, slower delivery into the midriff of Tanzid, and a few grimaces in our commentary box. We've all kind of been there, haven't we? He's crouching down and he's in some discomfort rush.
Yeah, that looked painful. He sort of completely misread it, and I think it's sort of like accidentally opened up his own stomach for the ball to plant itself in there. It looked painful. That's as painful as it gets, I think, in international cricket. Well, I know.
6 inches lower, Roshan.
Yeah, I was going to say that as soon as I said it, yeah.
almost as painful as it gets. Initially, I thought it was 6 inches lower, but no, he's back pretty quickly, and you don't recover quite as quickly with those ones. Almost. Sorry if you're just having your breakfast at home, listening to us there. Matt Henry, fuller this time into Tanzid, who just punches it back to the bowler in his follow-through. 24 for none then in the 7th over. Yeah, I mean, Carl James, he's like a gentle giant as he's running in with his long flowing blonde hair.
Well, I think it might be the long flowing blonde hair that makes him look friendly. I'm thinking like same as Stuart Broad, just friendly, brilliant bowler, but looks happy as he runs up to you.
There's a bit more about Broad, though, isn't there? It's the chirping and all that kind of stuff. Henry in, and another defensive shot there from Tanzid. No run. I don't think I've ever seen a scary-looking New Zealander. Not cricketer, anyway. Maybe the rugby players.
Yeah, true.
They're pretty scary.
They do come across a friendly bunch, though, don't they? They're you know, very kind of amicable.
Lovely people, and you know, we work with Jeremy Coney here on the BBC quite a lot. He's our New Zealand summariser whenever New Zealand tour. And I just like to think that every New Zealander is pretty much like Jeremy Coney, just a lovely chap. That's short, that's been pulled, and that's gone for 6. I think it's hit the rope on the full. Third umpire will have a check of that, but that is a lovely shot from Tanzid. He's swiped at a few across the line and missed a few so far in this innings, but that one all the way for 6.
Yeah, they took a moment to decide whether that was a 4 or 6, as you say. It hit the rope. Enjoyed a shot of the crowd there with people holding up both the 4 and 6, depending on who their allegiance was with. So good to have confirmation that's a 6. We've seen Tanzid trying to play that shot a few times today, so I'm pleased for him that he's managed to pull it off.
Flags waving once more. 30 without loss. That one down the leg side from Henry. Signalled wide. Nazmul Hossain trying to hold on to his hat as well. Almost blowing off in the Rawalpindi wind.
Yeah, quite a breeze. I know we've talked about how it's cooler here and it's about 20 degrees, but I feel it'll feel colder than it is with that wind blowing through the stadium today.
73 metres. 6 hitting the rope on the full. Tanzid. Next one is chipped in the air just over the top of that cover region. Tanzid will help himself to a couple of runs, so you can just see now, even Carl Jamieson, who did get some swing early on, and Matt Henry, who hasn't really found much movement here. The ball getting slightly older, still into the 7th over only, but already things getting slightly easier, in particular for Tanzid, who's moved on to 24 from 21.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it was New Zealand's choice to bowl first because they thought there might be something in it early on, but
defensive shot next up from Tanzid to complete that over from Henry. So 7 overs gone. Bangladesh 33 without loss. Thoughts from you, Roshan, on this start and on Tanzid in particular at the top of the order. 24 from 22, and then Matt Kabir-Floyd will take over from there. 7 overs gone.
I think Bangladesh will look at this as a very, very good start for them. I mean, only a few days ago they were 35 for 5. They've made changes to the order. Shanto has risked it despite being out of form and chosen to open today, but so far it's gone well. Tanzid, he was the one batter in the opening, or the top order, who looked comfortable the other day, and he's continued his form. He's taken a couple of risks, and not all of his shots have paid off, but he's still there. He's had a couple of boundaries to his name, so this is a good start for Bangladesh.
Down the track and carved over the offside by Nazmul Hossain Shanto. Good fielding on the boundary, though, from Devon Conway. I think he's prevented the 4. Could well be a 2. Down the track and carved over the offside.
Yeah, Shanto just starting to open up a little bit and warm up. He's sort of had a very nervous start, but just starting to play his shots now a little bit, and albeit for some brilliant fielding, would have been another boundary to his name. And I think it has been given a 4.
Yeah, he was touching the boundary rope, Devon Conway. Morning, everyone, by the way, or afternoon, wherever you are listening. Just got caught on the hop there a little bit as I came into the seat. Aggressive shot straight away. And they have shown some aggression, both of these Bangladeshi left-handed openers, as Jameson comes in once more. Hard length, defended off the back foot by Shanto to Kane Williamson at cover. No run, but it has been a good start. 37 without loss, 7.2 overs in. Defended well, but they've liked to use their feet on occasion, and they've pounced on anything short.
Yeah, and I think they've been told to do that because I think short bowling has been one of Bangladesh's like undoings in the past, but perhaps that's their demonstration of how to handle it, or you know, the fact that they have confidence when facing it, although it hasn't always paid off.
Here comes Jameson again. This one's on the pads. It's clipped to square leg, just in front of square by Shanto. It's another dot.
And that's how New Zealand are going to have to respond. Just sort of pin the batters back into their creases. Like when they don't use their feet, they look like they're slightly kind of nervous, slightly stuck. But it's been a fascinating battle so far, and I think as they get more runs, these two can look a bit more comfortable. And they've done well to get this far into the power play without losing a wicket and scoring runs at a decent rate. I think Bangladesh would have taken this if you offered to them at the toss.
And the pitch does look a little too paced to me, to be honest. Here's Jameson, pulled hard and through the infield. It was in the air, but it was just wide of square leg, more towards mid-wicket. It's another boundary, second boundary of the over for the Bangladeshi captain. You sense he's up to gear.
Yeah, for a man who's been out of form, this has been a very strong start. Promoted himself to the top order, which I think just shows a real show of confidence, actually. And Bangladesh have looked to attack that leg side, and the field is just filling up the offside, and Bangladesh have not had an issue with navigating that so far. Yeah, for a man who's been out of form, this has been a very strong start. Promoted himself to the top order.
Opening up, it's just freed him up a little bit. And with Tunzid playing some shots at the other end as well. Another pull shot. This one swivels on beautifully, rolls his wrists. It's an even better shot along the ground, just behind squares. Another boundary, 3 in the over.
What an over this is turning into. And runs are flowing down that leg side. I just wonder whether New Zealand might need to have a little think and go, hang on, might need to shuffle someone around that side, because that's where the runs are coming at the moment. Bangladesh have seen the gap in the field and they are attacking with everything.
It might be a case of have a blow, Carl Jameson. We've got Will O'Rourke in reserve as well, another giant fast bowler. Very tall bowling attack, actually, isn't it, with those two in it?
Yeah, the height difference when they line up with the national anthem is particularly pronounced when New Zealand play Bangladesh.
Changing the fields.
Yeah, they need to put someone on the leg side, don't they?
Yeah, he's beefed out the leg side, so mid-wicket comes in and square leg goes out to the boundary. Last ball of the over. Beats the outside edge, outside off stump this time. It wasn't a great shot from Shanto on this occasion. Didn't move his feet, just wafted at it, but it's a good over. 12 off it, 8 overs gone, and Bangladesh looking pretty good at the moment. 45 without loss.
Yeah, it's a very good start. I mean, Bangladesh have talked about 300+ scores being the norm in one-day cricket and the expectation playing here in Rawalpindi, and they're going at just under 6 and over, which for the power play against the New Zealand opening bowlers, I think they'd take this as a very strong start, actually. It's looked shaky, it's looked nervy, but I think these guys are settling in, going, let's play our shots where we need to, let's be patient when we need to. And they've actually laid a very good foundation so far for Bangladesh. It's a very good start.
Especially in comparison to what happened against India.
Yeah.
35 for 5. A reminder of where they were. It should have been 35 for 6.
Yeah, absolutely. Rowe dropped an absolute city. He said he was going to buy dinner for, was the bowler, was it Axar? Yeah, he said, I wonder if he's bought that dinner. I've just followed through on that promise by now.
Yeah, and that cost them, didn't it? Because Bangladesh got up past 220 in the end. Could have been all out for less than 100. First sign of spin. Here's Michael Bracewell, the off spinner, in the power play, around the wicket, and he goes past the outside edge straight away. Kept a bit low this, tossed up outside the off stump, and cut shot attempted. First sign of spin. And missed. Well taken in the end by Tom Latham. Bracewell again around the wicket. Oh, he's caught! They have the breakthrough. It was dragged to the leg side by Tunzid. I think he was trying to go up and over, maybe, of mid-wicket, mid-on, and it skewed off the inside portion of the bat to mid-wicket, and a sharp catch taken there. That's a bit of a sucker punch, really.
Well, bringing Bracewell on has paid dividends immediately. The first ball was slightly wide, I thought, and he's just corrected himself, tempted Tunzid into that leg side shot he's been playing all morning, and he is caught. Disappointing for Tunzid, he's failed to capitalise on a good start again, out in the 20s again. He'll be disappointed with that. He'll know he was throwing away a very good start to go on and make a decent score here today. Bangladesh now just need to not lose their heads. They've lost 1 wicket. They cannot allow the domino effect to kick in right now.
And it came from nowhere, really. Just the second ball of spin. And as you say, Roshan, it's another runner ball score in the 20s. You've got 20 5, I think, against India off 25 balls.
Yeah, decent start, but again, just throwing it away. He had a very good BPL. He had a very good Bangladesh Premier League, scored half centuries almost continually through the tournament. And I think that kind of confidence has stayed with him into this tournament. But it is one-day cricket. You need to know when to not play your shots. And that was a very soft dismissal in the end for Tanzania.
Yeah, so 25 off 25 against India, 24 off 24 against New Zealand. And that's kind of been the story of his career so far. He averages 20 in 23 games, strike rate 100. So that, in a nutshell, is Tanzania.
Yeah. Run of all Tanzania.
Now we've got Mehedi Hassan Miraz in at number 3. Batted number 4 in the previous game. He has been number 4 for a few games now, but he's in at number 3. This is a player who, back in the day, would have been coming in at number 9, number 8.
Yeah, down the order as an all-rounder, but he's emerged as, well, a lot of people think he's Shakib's long-term replacement as an all-rounder for Bangladesh, and he's lived up to that expectation so far.
First ball for him, he goes back, pushes to mid-on, no run. I do wonder, though, very good player, real competitor, isn't he, Mehedi Hassan Miraz, but is number 3 just a bit too high for him? I thought number 4 might be a bit high for him. Second ball goes past Mehedi's outside edge. Not a convincing shot there. There's half an idea to review this. Tom Latham thinking, was there a little scratch there off the bat of Mehedi? Santner's having a think about it. 3 seconds left. Big discussion. No, they're not going to go for it.
There's a very late shake of the head. They do like to utilise the entire time to debate it, don't they? Yeah, you're right about Mehedi Hassan. I think what's happened is Mohammedullah's come back into the team. He bats at number 7 or 8. But you've got Jakir Ali, who is a finisher. You've got Rishad Hussain, who will come in at number 8. So they've just had to shuffle everyone up one place, because this is Miraz's ideal pace.
Dot ball pushed back to Bracewell. Well, when I look at this side, that's the weakness that I see, really.
Yeah.
In days gone by, you'd have had Shakib in there, of course.
Yeah.
You'd have had Mohamedullah, Mushfiqur more at their peak in that middle order. That was the strength. Last ball of the over. Down the track, Mehedi, up and over, straight as a die. That's a big hit for 6. It clatters into the side screen. Early aggression. Number 3, perfect for him.
Yeah, what we're talking about, absolute show of confidence from Mehedi Hassan Miraz. What a way to get your first runs on the board, down the track and bang, straight to the side screen. Phenomenal stuff.
51 for 1 of 9 overs, so dramatic first over from Bracewell. Picks up a wicket, but final delivery, beautiful shot, down the ground, kept his shape, got to the pitch of the ball and lofted it high and handsome over the bowler. That's how you do it. Don't try and overhit the ball. He's a small guy, Mehedi Hassan Miraz, but does have power.
Yeah, very intelligent cricketer. He's also the sort of cricketer who will just say, look, play me where the team needs me to play. And obviously, I imagine there had been a conversation in the dressing room. I mean, imagine Shanto would have gone to Mushfiq. Do you fancy batting at number 3? And Mushfiq would have gone, no, and that would end the conversation. And then he's just gone to Mehedi. Do you fancy just shuffling up one? And, I think Miraz is the sort of bloke who'd go, play me where you need me to play. I'll do what the team needs. So here he is.
He does seem that sort of guy. He's a cheeky character, but a fighter, isn't he? He's that kind of player, popular in the dressing room.
Yeah, 100%.
He's played some unbelievable knocks down the order, actually.
Yeah.
Remember, I was in Bangladesh a couple of years ago, the ODI series that Bangladesh won. A couple of match-winning innings from him in Dhaka in front of a packed crowd. He got 100 in one of the games at number 8. And Bangladesh won both, took the series. So I think those kind of innings showed that he's got the minerals, that he can handle the pressure, and that's led to this promotion up to number 3.
Yeah, there's always a debate. I remember Shakib used to bat at number 3, but of course we'll always probably also have to bowl 10 overs later, so it's about balancing the workload sometimes.
Will O'Rourke's on. Good start as well, actually, just in the channel to Shanto, who dabs it down to deep third for a single. So one giant quick replaces another. O'Rourke took the new ball actually in the previous game. This time he's coming on at first change. Good start as well, actually, just in the channel.
Yeah, workload is a key thing, I think, for people like Miraz, because he's one of 2 spinners in the team, him and Rashad. And back in the day, Bangladesh would play 3 spinners, and maybe Mehdi would have had to bowl his entire allocation. But in all likelihood, we will see 10 overs from him later on today, I suspect, unless the conditions don't really favour him later in the evening. Yeah, taking on the workload, he is seen as the long-term replacement for Shaki, but it's lived up to that billing so far.
5 balls left in the power play. Don't want to lose a wicket here, do you, Bangladesh? Don't mind taking a few from them, but short and wide, carved over gully for 4 by Mehedi Hassan Miraz. That was a poor delivery from O'Rourke. It was 88 miles an hour, but plenty of width. All he had to do was just get some bat on it, and that was always going to fly away for 4.
Yeah, just helped it on its way, didn't he? Very well read from Mehedi Hassan Miraz. He saw it was wide. So it's coming in sort of around about waist height and just nudged it with the bat, middled it nicely. Field is very clear. And another boundary for Mehedi Hassan.
After an absolute flyer, isn't he? 10 off 5 deliveries, 6 and a 4 already. That one was a freebie, you'd have to say. So what's the response going to be for O'Rourke, who's got a slip in? He's fuller this time. Mehedi Hassan Miraz just drives to Kane Williamson. No run.
Yeah, fuller and slightly tighter into the batter, and decent response from Mehedi. Not losing his head. Very calm player. Very intelligent player of the ball, I think.
He's fuller this time. Yeah, I do think so. He got into the game very young, didn't he, Mehedi Hassan Miraz? In fact, I think he made his Test debut against England just before his 19th birthday.
Yeah, I have the article, the Guardian article, framed on my wall.
Right, we'll get into that. Here's O'Rourke. Oh, good ball. Good length. Draws Mehedi forward. Beats the outside edge, but doesn't bounce. Keeps low. And that's another sign, perhaps, of the two-pace nature of this pitch. Jameson was getting the odd one to really take off and bounce. O'Rourke, similar height. This one scuttles along the ground and bounces before the keeper.
Yeah, I think it was the second test against England, 2016, that Bangladesh won, and the headline was Mesmeric Mehedi spins Bangladesh to famous win, and it was a double-page spread. And I was like, Bangladesh are never going to get a double-page spread in the Guardian ever again. I need to have that framed, and I did.
Full again on the stumps. Mehedi clips to mid-on, sharp single. Throw comes in from Matt Henry, and direct hit there would have been close. Mehedi had to dive in. I think Henry thinks he might have had him as well by the looks of his reaction.
That was some dive, and he slid. I was going to say almost a metre and a half there. I don't know if the G's already setting in quite early, but just looking at replay, he slid a long, long way.
It's like Monty Panesar, wasn't it? Cardiff got the dive out early. Slightly better though than Monty's, I think, in 2009.
I haven't seen one like that for a while.
Swimming along the Rawalpindi turf. Last ball of the power play. Good ball, squares up Shanto, takes the outside edge down to deep third, but they come through for a single. So 10 overs done, that's the power play done. 58 for 1, Bangladesh. Roshan's stepping out for a breather. Michael Carberry's coming in for a chat. How are you, Carbs?
Morning, Matty. Good to see you, mate. In a long time.
Always good to see you. Looking as fit as a fiddle, I've got to say. Although you're saying you're coming back from injury.
I am, yes. Did my Achilles last summer. So yeah, just on the better side now, thankfully. Good to see you, mate. But still aches and pains in the mornings, mate, as I'm sure you can relate. Good start from Bangladesh, I have to say. They'll be more than pleased with this batting effort so far.
Yeah, they've shown real intent, haven't they? Played a couple of full shots, of course. That happens in the power play, but generally they've taken some good options here. Can they kick on? Bracewell continues around the wicket. Forward defending is Shanto out to cover, and you feel like he's got a big role now, hasn't he? The skipper, he's in now, 22 off 29. Maybe get some confidence back and shepherd the team through the next 15 overs. Keep wickets in hand. Goes back, plays it straight back to Bracewell, no run.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Phil Simmons, the coach, would have spoken to his batters at great length, saying, look, one of us here in the top 6 have to take responsibility. We haven't got the deepest batting lineup in terms of out-and-out batsmen. So yeah, Shanto has to take the lead here.
Good bowling at the moment from Bracewell, stump to stump. This time a single though from Shanto off the back foot. He punches down to long on. Very big game in this tournament. In fact, every game is really, isn't it? That's the beauty of the Champions Trophy. In that every game is an event, because you don't get many of them. 3 group games, you lose one, you're in trouble. this, a lot riding on this one. Mahidi this time off the back foot, but he can't get past mid-wicket. So dot ball, Pakistan, they'll have their Bangladesh shirts on at the moment because they need Bangladesh to win. If New Zealand win, it's New Zealand and India who go through in this group. Just slower through the air, clip to square leg, no run.
Yeah, and I suppose equally New Zealand wouldn't want any slip-ups either, would they? I mean, after starting so well and the momentum you would say coming in was generally with them, they wouldn't want a slip-up now.
Cut hard by Mahidi, says 2 straight away, might be able to get it. They're coming back, yeah, comfortable. In the end, fielder on the boundary to come round to his left quite a long way, so good end to the over. Only 3 off it though, 61 for 1 off 11 overs. Mahidi's 13 off 11. Captain Shanto 23 off 31. The 1 batter to go, Nazmul Hossain, 24 off 24 balls with a couple of lovely pulled sixes, but he was out, caught by Kane Williamson off the bowling of Michael Bracewell, the off-spinner, in his first over, just his second ball, skewing the ball off the inside edge to mid-wicket, trying to hit over the top. What do you make of the pitch so far?
In all honesty, I don't know. It's been a bit of a mixed bag, I think. I think it's a bit tufty, I would say, in areas. There's a bit patchy green areas. I think when the taller bowlers in particular, Jameson sort of found that right length a bit fuller, it's tended to sort of fly through, a little bit of extra bounce you'd expect from a man 6'8".
Speaking of which, here's O'Rourke. He's more like 6'6", I think, and that is a wide, long way outside the off stump, well gathered by Latham.
Yeah, the sort of back of a length ball has tended to sit more in the pitch, and I think generally the Bangladeshi batsmen are happier sort of sitting deep in the crease, almost looking for it, looking for that short ball, and they put it away really, really well. A few went over the ropes. So yeah, I think it's one of those almost just being annoyingly test match length, you know, nagging away. I think that's sort of the length on this pitch to the bowlers.
There's the test match length from O'Rourke. Lovely forward defence from Shanto, straight to cover, no run. Do have, although they've had a few injuries, New Zealand, you look at their attack and it still looks pretty impressive, doesn't it? You think about no Southey, no Bolt anymore. Ferguson got injured, Ben Sears got injured. They can still bring in the likes of Carl Jameson. It wasn't even in the original squad. O'Rourke looks a real prospect. Young fast bowler. This is another wide delivery. Tries to play the cut shot, Shanto. It's another wide, so 2 wides in his first 3 deliveries.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose the only, slight downside to the New Zealand attack, if there was going to be any, maybe variation in terms of the pace, maybe missing a left arm kind of seamer, something a bit different. I think, yes, they've got a bit of pace, yes, they've got a bit of height, but it'd be nice, maybe just a change of angle, I think, perhaps.
Over the wickets, into the hip of Shanto, can't get this away for a single. So another dot ball, and that's probably where England have fallen down as well when you think about it. This New Zealand side, yes, you could level the same charge. They're missing the left arm seamer in Trent Bolt. Maybe they could have brought someone in who was a left arm angle. Maybe also missing a wrist spinner. Ishodi not there, so they've got some very good finger spin options. Maybe just lacking a bit of guile. I think that's a charge you can level at England as well at the moment. Again, it's banged into the hip. This time they'll get a leg by though down to deep fine. England could have picked Reece Topley. They didn't. Could have picked Sam Curran. So now it's raw pace and England attack. One frontline spinner.
Yeah, I suppose you only got to look back to our sort of most successful era under Owen Morgan. We had David Willey for many years, didn't we, to do that role, opening the bowling, always found swing, no matter where in the world he seemed to bowl. And it's just something different, you know, batters have to line it up a bit differently.
Crosses stumps, Mahidi, and almost plays on there, tries to play the cut shot, inside edge, bounces just wide of his stumps. That was lucky.
Yeah, and it just gives the batting lineup something else to think about. Plus, you create rough on that side of the pitch as well, so it can, you know, for your sort of right arm off spinners, you know, someone like Livingston, who's a bit of a, you know, a leg spin and off spin option. You know, it gives him opportunity to attack the right handers out of the left armers footholds as well.
Yeah, quite a few sides, I guess, haven't got more than one frontline spinner. Dot ball driven straight to the fielder at cover by Mahidi, 87 mile an hour. That delivery, he's cranking it up. Here is Will O'Rourke. Yeah, that's the way to go, isn't it? Seems to be most teams are playing just one frontline spinner and then a couple of other spinners effectively. New Zealand, for example, have got Bracewell and Phillips, but it just depends on how good your part-timers are. You look at New Zealand, theirs aren't too bad.
Yeah, it is a little bit surprising.
Oh, in the air, chipped straight to mid-on by Mahidi Hassan Miraz. That is a soft dismissal. Maybe the extra bounce from Will O'Rourke there, but I'm not quite sure what he was trying to do. He looked like he was maybe in two minds, whether to go up and over or whether to keep it along the ground.
I think it's that length again, Floydie, we talked about, isn't it? That test match length, hard knee roll length, where the ball tends to come out at two different pace. I think Mahidi initially was looking to go over the top and then almost looked like he tried to then check the shot, realizing that he wasn't quite there, and ended up doing neither really, and just again just another frustrating soft dismissal. You know, I think if Bangladesh look back on this innings so far, they would think, well, you've had two dismissals now, not really exceptional deliveries that have got either batsman out, and I think this is what Phil Simmons, I mean, he hasn't got much here to tear out these days, but I think he'll be sitting there as a coach just going, you know, it's the giveaways that is the real frustration.
Yeah, so second Bangladeshi batter gets in and gets out and was looking quite tasty. Tons in, a couple of lovely sixes from him. Mahidi Hassan Miraz, a couple of nice boundaries, including a very nice maximum down the ground off the off spinner. But he's out, 13 off 14 deliveries for him, 64 for 2 off 12 Bangladesh, having been put into bat by New Zealand. And Tawhid Hridoy is the new batter, a man who hit his maiden ODI century in the previous match against India. Big moment for him. It's taken him 31 innings to get there. But without that, they would have been pulverized by India. He got them up to 220 odd. He's not on strike. Shanto is, and he takes a sharp single, pushes in between cover and extra cover, and they come through. So Hridoy will face his first ball.
Yeah, he's almost got to do it all over again, hasn't he? And I think it also now places a lot more pressure on the captain. He's really got to make sure now he's the mainstay of this innings. You know, he can't afford another sloppy mistake now. He's got to really sort of try and repair the damage, try and get a partnership going.
Hridoy could be the man for that, the man in form. Forward defence from his first delivery. This one was tossed up by Bracewell. He did struggle with cramps, didn't he? Getting that 100, but it was in Dubai, much, much hotter. This is pleasant in terms of cricket conditions, about 23 degrees. Dot ball pushed to short cover. Don't think he's going to have any problems here, that's for sure. In fact, it's going to get down, Carps, to about 15, 16 degrees this evening, they reckon, in Rawalpindi. Start playing down at Hampshire. Old Aegeus Bowl.
This is actually pretty crazy.
Oh,
I don't know how
bit of
they
confusion.
do it,
Yes, no, they're coming through for a quick single to square leg. Thankfully for Bangladesh, the hesitation was only brief. Hridoy's off the mark.
Yeah, another hairy moment there. Yeah, I certainly don't miss those pre-season games, man, I've got to be honest. Wrapped up in 4 jumpers and beanies and hoodies, gloves.
Hand warmers.
Yeah, not something I miss, really. But yeah, just interesting looking at the point.
और अब हम जो है उसका रिवर्सल देख रहे हैं, लेकिन इसमें आपको बहुत बड़ा क्रेडिट जाता है क्योंकि आपने जो गैप था पाकिस्तान.
Yeah, just from a New Zealand point of view, I mean, you've got, you know, skipper under pressure, you've just taken a wicket, you've got, you know, say a hint of turn, nothing more than that. opportunity to get a little bit more attacking with the field, you know, maybe a slip, you know, especially to the new batsmen. It almost feels like you're just allowing them just to play themselves in here a little bit. I think this is the time now to really jump on Bangladesh's frailties as a batting unit, I think.
Last ball was a good one. Almost an action replay of the previous delivery. Defended into the offside for no run. So just 2 off that Bracewell over. It's 66 for 2 of 13 overs as it stands. New Zealand have got a couple of other spin options too. Mitchell Santner, the captain, left arm spinner, another off spinner in Glenn Phillips. So they do have some pretty decent options. Plus Rachin Ravindra, who's in today. He's been out for a while, having been hit in the head trying to take a catch in that tri-series against Pakistan. He's back now. Daryl Mitchell is ill. So that's solved the selection conundrum for them. Another wide from O'Rourke. He's struggling with his radar here. This one down the leg side, and Latham does really well, in fact, to half stop it, prevent it going for 5 wides.
It was a very unusual wide there from O'Rourke, just losing his control. So good agility from Latham to get across there, because that could have easily been 4 wides, I think. So out of the 2 big quicks, O'Rourke's tended to be the little bit more erratic of the 2, I'd say. Good agility from Latham.
Pulled hard, rolls the wrist too. That is a gorgeous shot from Nazmul Hossain Shanto. We've seen some really good pull shots from Bangladeshi left-handers so far. That might be the pick of them, actually. Didn't try to overhit at all, just a jab really behind square, directed it wide of the boundary rider fielder who was more in front of square.
Yeah, I think as a general, they're all pretty small guys. They're all pretty set up deep in the crease. You can see that their first movement is way back and deep in the crease, almost waiting for that sort of length on it. That was a beautiful shot. Just swiveled on it, really. Just a good, nice little extension of the wrist.
Good response by O'Rourke, though. That's a hard length on off stump. It's defended for no run. What's the time of year? It's coming up towards February. Just speaking about those cold days down in Hampshire that you don't miss anymore. Actually, it's not far off the start of the season, really, is it? I mean, in March, you get people playing in March in the UK.
No, thanks. I don't miss that either.
Scary thought, the season's almost upon us. UK summer. This keeps low outside the off stump. Well taken by Latham on the bounce. Almost goes underneath Shanto's bat as he plays off the back foot. What's the coldest you've ever been, do you reckon, on a cricket field?
I'll tell you now, there was, I think it was around 2000 and I'm going to say about 17, probably my last year with Hampshire. We went to Yorkshire for a championship game. Bairstow got 200, thank God, very quickly.
I'm intrigued. Here comes O'Rourke, takes the edge. Good delivery, pushed across Shanto, but he's going to get 4 for it. Probably went through where there would have been maybe a 3rd slip, but obviously you're not going to have a 3rd slip at this stage of an ODI. Moral victory for the bowler, but it's a 2nd boundary of the over.
Yeah, again, it was good length from O'Rourke. So he wasn't perturbed by the previous ball. You know, found that right length, pitched the ball up, and I think that's the length you've got to try and nag away on as much as you can. It just seems to be a little bit of indifferent bounce. I've seen one already go underneath the bat.
Says no very quickly. So carry on your story then. How cold was it there?
Yeah, so it was so cold. The wind picked up, so the wind actually went underneath the boundary board. So there was just this crescendo of noise around the ground. And I remember it was, I think it might have been Fidel Edwards' first season with the club, and they only gave him a short sleeve sweater fresh off the plane from Barbados. And I just remember looking across and just see him like trying to get his collars right up to his ears and shivering away. And it was honestly like the coldest I've ever been.
Last ball of the over, pulled again by Shanto, this time straight to deep backward square leg. So just a 1. I'm getting cold just hearing this story, to be honest with you. Maybe we'll get more of it with Nikesh Ragani, who's coming in now. I'm going to break for 7 overs, but Michael, you're staying in.
Thanks very much. Yeah, you know when they're you turn up at a ground and their groundsmen are sort of with the sledgehammer breaking ice, putting it in the wheelbarrow just hours before a day's play. You know you're in some serious trouble as the visitors to a ground. But yeah, we made it through, which was a good thing. Welcome to Nikesh.
Michael Bracewell in again, and Shanto just knocks him down to long on for a single. Are you telling porkies, Mr. Carberry?
I wish I was, mate. Honestly, I went through about 50 hand warmers in one session.
Wow.
Us soft Southerners, as the Yorkshire crowd were telling.
That's what it is. Even us Midlanders wouldn't be quite that extreme with the hand warmers, I don't think. 78 for 2 then, Bangladesh in the 15th over. Hridoy, centurion from the first game against India. Back on strike. Facing up here to Bracewell. It's full, it's well defended. Textbook forward defensive. Long stride into the ball. I don't think it's going to be that cold in Rawalpindi this evening. The New Zealanders will certainly be a lot more used to it than the Bangladeshis. Hridoy back in his crease, defending this time. Bracewell has bowled well so far, 1 for 12, midway through his 4th over this evening. Love his tash as well.
Yeah.
Some good facial hair across the New Zealand side. Another full delivery, just hit back to Bracewell down the pitch.
Kane Williamson's sort of sporting the Mamadilla type style beard, isn't he?
Yeah.
Got the thick growth.
Absolutely. Well groomed as well. Another forward defensive shot there from Hridoy, just respecting Bracewell at the moment. Let's take a lot of product, a lot of beard oil and things. You've gone for the clean shave now, Carps.
Yeah, I was sporting a quite a thick beard for a while.
You
decided, just change up the look a little bit. Gone for the
defensive shot there from Hridoy, just respecting Bracewell. His crease flicking is Hridoy, but straight to square leg, no run.
Plus, there's only so much stick you can take from your mum day in, day out as well. She hated.
She loves the clean shave.
She loves
now.
the clean shave. Yeah,
It's
she
taken
likes to
10
see her
years
boys.
off your Carps, to be
Thank
fair.
you, mate. Yeah, appreciate you. Yeah, she hates the thick growth. You know, she likes to see her boy's face. So thought it had to be done.
Fair enough. Fair enough. It's a mum's thing, isn't it? I mean, look, I never kind of go longer than this,
Yeah, I like the
you know,
designer stubble,
it's just a bit of designer stubble. My daughter hates it.
Really?
She hates too spiky, Daddy.
She likes
too
the
spiky. She
clean
likes the
shaven
clean
daddy.
shaven. So occasionally I will go for the clean shave every once in a while. The missus doesn't like that, which is the issue. Who do you want to please more? It's a tough one, isn't it? Try and keep it sweet with everyone. Shanto guides the next ball from
That is a
O'Rourke
conundrum.
down to deep third for a single. It's a very tough one. My mum's given up. She was the same as your mum. Clean shave is the way to go when I was younger, but yeah, she's given up now. I think I'm at that age. You can't, well, I guess I say that. You think you're at an age where you can make your own decisions and stuff, but sometimes when mum pipes up, you got to listen.
When the Queen speaks, that's it, isn't it?
Got to show you respect.
That's right.
79 for 2. O'Rourke in, and Hridoy flicks, but it's well fielded at short mid-wicket by Kane Williamson there. Yeah, Williamson's has kind of gone gradually longer and longer and longer over the years, isn't it? Just bit by bit, bit by bit.
And a few more greys in there as well, isn't he?
Just a few more test hundreds bit by bit as well, which is
He's got
always
test
useful.
hundreds. Yeah, there's a few international runs in that beard.
Hridoy then 1 from 9. It's been a slow start for the Centurion from the first game, but he gets his second run with a guide down to Carl Jamieson at deep third. 80 for 2 then. In the 16th over, we do see a lot of runs scored on these Pakistani pitches. What have you made of the Rawalpindi surface so far?
I was just saying to Floydie, I think It's been a bit of a mixed bag. I think when the bowlers have, there's almost a test match length knee roll where there's a little bit different bounce. Like some haven't carried, some have really gone through, especially from the taller men.
Round the wicket this time to Shanto. It's been defended back down the track, no run.
I think the length to stay away from the New Zealand's point of view is that sort of hip high sort of delivery when they've gone a little bit more back of a length trying to hit the pitch, because I think because of the way the Bangladeshi batsmen set themselves up, which is generally very deep in the crease, almost looking for the shorter ball, trying to access that shorter leg side boundary. I think that's the length to stay away from. We've seen some cracking pull shots already in this innings.
Run rate still above 5 runs and over at this stage. Another short ball from O'Rourke. And Shanto decides to show it some respect, just sways leg side of the ball. A little bit close to be trying to pull or hook that one. Got a little bit big on him as well, extra bounce.
Yeah, that was a great short ball just simply because of the height. You know, he got that really, that would have been, if Shanto stood up in his normal stance, that would probably be really directed at the badge. I think if you're going to bowl a short ball, it's got to be a genuine short ball. It can't be that sort of drag down length. Otherwise, you'll get dispatched.
To complete this over is 4th. Shanto can't quite force it through that offside. So another dot ball, tidy over there for New Zealand. Just the 2 from it for Bangladesh. 16 overs gone. 80 for 2 is the score. Looks like some drinks are being ran out onto the field. It's not that hot, is it? 16 overs in,
warmer than
you
it
need a
is
drink.
here. Yeah, I suppose at this stage it's usually the tactical talks, aren't it?
Do we call it a strategic timeout?
Strategic. That's
we love them during the IPL, don't we?
Oh, don't we just?
2.5 minutes, supposedly. More like 3.5.
That's where they're getting longer and more frequent now, aren't they? Strategic timeouts.
Yeah, they've started charging more for the ads, haven't they, on the TV? We're not sceptical at all. So Shanto then, still there on 35, the skipper from 48. Opening the innings today, if you are just joining us. Couple of changes for Bangladesh from their 11. Tanzim and Sumya Sarkar out. Mahmudullah and Nahid Rana, the exciting young fast bowler, are in today. That'll be interesting to see how Nahid Rana goes on this surface with good pace and carry. As for New Zealand, 1 enforced change. Daryl Mitchell feeling slightly unwell, so Rachin Ravindra has come in for him. Not a bad replacement at all. And Carl Jamieson, big, tall, quick, in for Nathan Smith. 2 changes each. New Zealand won the toss, decided to have a bowl first. Mitch Santner suggesting that batting may get a little bit easier later on under the lights, with a bit of dew perhaps. So, I mean, given their run-scoring exploits of late, I don't think they'll be too bothered with this start from Bangladesh at the moment. 80 for 2, and they've been chasing down big scores in the Tri-Series in Pakistan. They scored 350 plus against Pakistan in that first game. Their batting is looking solid at the moment.
Yeah, it is, and they'll be full of confidence going in. I was a little surprised they did opt to bowl first, New Zealand, because just on the sheer nature that, you know, the pitch looked an absolute belter, and usually it's quite a high scoring ground, but obviously you go with what's working for you. So you've got a pretty fragile Bangladesh batting lineup, so it made sense to try and knock them over early. If you can get into that sort of fragile middle order nice and early, put them under some pressure. As you say, they're pretty good chasing side, New Zealand. So I think they'll be more than pleased with this start. Equally, I think Bangladesh would be also, you know, because from where they were in the last game, 35 for 5, you know, really put under the pump. It's a good recovery. It's a good sort of comeback. Now the key for me is with the 2 batters in at the moment is, have they got that desire now to go on and make it a big score? Someone's got to take that responsibility, go in and get 100. It allows your experience, the likes of Mahmudullah, Mr. Fooker, to come in later on with the pyrotechnics to try and get them up to something around, you've got to say, 30, something around there, to give themselves something competitive to bowl at.
Yeah, very different, of course, to what we were talking about in Dubai in their first match as being a competitive score. Bracewell gets things back underway. Full delivery, defended away by Hridoy for no run. Yeah, you've got to be comfortably 300 plus on these types of surfaces, you feel, against a side like New Zealand as well, to be competitive. And that's probably a reason why they brought someone like Mahmudullah in that lower middle order. Next ball is clipped away by Hridoy to deep mid-wicket for a single. That's one thing that Bangladesh have been accused of in their white ball cricket across T20s and ODIs, is they don't quite have the power game. And you look at somebody like Mahmudullah, he's coming to the end of his career as well. They don't really have those next 2 or 3 lined up to come in that lower middle order who have got the ability to clear the ropes. Bracewell round the wicket here to Shanto. Good delivery, defended away.
Yeah, well, it was a criticism lobbied at them from the last World Cup, the T20 World Cup, where they again struggled to clear the ropes. They had a lot of good conventional batters, if that's a thing nowadays.
Shanto winds up but then defends into the offside. Bracewell keeping things very tight indeed. Getting through these overs quickly as well. Of the spin bowling in this tournament so far. Bracewell pushing Shanto back in his crease with a slightly shorter delivery, but again just defended off the back foot to extra cover. Just the one from the first 5 balls of this over. This one, number 4 on his back, pushes it slightly wider of the off stump, but again Shanto defends to backward point, so very tidy over there from Michael Bracewell. Just the one from it. 5 overs he's bowled, 1 for 13. Bangladesh at 81 for 2 off their 17.
I say it's just it's an interesting point that you make about the Bangladeshi batting lineup, because I always think in those situations it's all about trying to find the balance, isn't it? Because we've seen with England, we've almost went too far one way. We packed the side with a lot of hitters and then had some struggles recently because we didn't have anyone to sort of, like the Joe Roots, to come in and shore things up, to be able to bat through an innings and set the platform. So I think it's, for Bangladesh, it's probably for them at the moment just finding different ways to win whilst they try and discover a few guys who can clear the ropes.
O'Rourke continues, goes down the leg side to Hridoy. That's a really, really good take from Tom Latham down the leg side. Will be signalled wide. There's another one onto the total. Are you suggesting a combined England-Bangladesh 11 would find the right balance? Is that the route we're headed down?
Well, I think, it's funny because cricket always tends to come around full circle. I think if you look at, say, Joe Root, who's probably our best white ball batsman statistically, I mean, he's not known for his power game, and he's still very effective run scorer. I think, that's where, for me, Bangladesh is at the moment.
O'Rourke, better delivery. Outside off, defended away by Hridoy.
It's can their batsmen, who they have at the moment, find ways of being consistent run scorers, which will then allow them, as I said, as their development goes on, they'll hopefully pick up maybe 2 or 3 guys along the way then who are from the more modern era, if you like, of trying to clear the ropes, because they will slot in and complement the guys who are known run scorers.
Hridoy again defends to backward point, no run. I mean, look, even going back to junior club cricket and sort of county academy cricket that I would have played, you'd quite often get called brainless and get a good rollicking from your coaches if you played some of the shots that these top international players are attempting to play and getting out. Obviously, look, you've got a risk if you want to play that way. You're obviously going to be high risk of getting out, but you back yourself to clear the boundary more often than not, as O'Rourke goes a little bit wider, and that's guided by Hridoy to deep third for a single. But yeah, it seems as though England most of their lineup only knows one way or only thinks they need to play in one way. This format in particular, 50 overs, a bit tactical. It's more of a chess game, isn't it? 50 over cricket than T20.
I think you'll find that's across all cricket, really. I mean, even in certain T20 situations, the best players are the ones who adapt. And I've always had that criticism at England. Yes, it's, do you want to be known as an entertaining side?
Another defensive shot, this time by Shanto, no run.
Or do you want to be known as a great side? And I think if you want to be known as a great side, you have to be able to adapt. Any sports person will tell you in any sport, there's times you have to go on a more defensive frame of mind, and then there's times you attack. You've got to work that out over time. I think, let's say to use come back to Bangladesh again, if you haven't got those players, then you've got to find different ways in your own way, play to your strengths of winning. I would rather have a top six that can score consistent hundreds.
Short ball, attempted pull by Shanto, and it was just a sort of almost tennis ball bounce, really. Bounce short of the keeper, Latham. Was it overhead height, though? I think the players had a look at that. Let's have another look at it. It's really short. No, I don't think it was quite overhead height as it passed Shanto, but it dropped well short of Latham. Strange bounce.
Yeah, and remember also, it's a lot easier to clear the ropes once you're in. I think trying to do it from ball one is always tough anywhere in the world.
Final ball of the over. He comes down the track, Shanto, and hits it almost to the hands of Matt Henry at mid-on. Bounces just short of the toe end of the bat. 18 overs gone then, just 2 from that over. Bangladesh 83 for 2. What kind of coach are you then, Carbs? You see a lot of you coaching kids these days, school children. Are you a taskmaster? Or you put your arm around the shoulder? Or are you just a bit of a man manager in terms of, you know, treat everybody how you think they need to be treated, whether it's some people need a bit of a rollicking, some people need an arm around a shoulder?
I like to think I'm real, because I know how hard the journey is. I wouldn't say I had a exponential international career.
Bracewell continues into his 6th over. Hridoy knocks him too long on for a single.
I wasn't someone who was earmarked to play first class or international cricket, so I understand the struggles probably more so of more kids that I coach, and particularly the kids I coach are kids who have been released, so I know what that feels like. I know what it's like to have to scrap and, you know, your way to the top of the game.
So round the wicket to Shanto, top edge off a sweep, and it's just out of the reach of O'Rourke, a short fine leg, who's made an absolute mess of that. He was wrong-footed, he almost tripped himself up, chased it to the rope, and the ball ended up beating him. I think he got fingertips on it as well and kind of knocked it back a touch, but the ball had enough momentum to take it into the sponge. I don't think Shanto quite realised it went for 4. He was calling his partner through to try and keep running. It's another boundary for Bangladesh. Just the 9th one of the innings, 9 4s and 3 6s. Very swell outside off. That's been punched off the back foot to short extra cover, no run. Shanto on to 39 now from 57.
Starting to show some intent, more intent to Bracewell now. Looking to...
Down the track comes Shanto, and he drives to long off. Another single onto the total.
Yeah, so just from a coaching point of view, I'm very big on just trying to coach the basics. I think trying to give young players a platform to be able to express themselves from good technical bases.
Bracewell back to Hridoy, who's flicking away to deep mid-wicket. Another single taken, so better over this for Bangladesh. 7 from the first 5.
Yeah, and also getting them to see the importance of doing things that are not necessarily fashionable. So, you know, the fitness side of the game, fielding, is very important.
Oh, Shanto almost drags this one on his back, trying to cut, and gets an inside edge. trickles away into the leg side, and they managed to get a single. So 8 from that Michael Bracewell over. Much better for Bangladesh. 19 overs gone, 91 for 2. They're on to now. I wonder what the food is like in Rawalpindi for the players. We were talking about this the other day, best food on the circuit. From a media and a player's perspective, it's slightly different because you get served slightly different stuff, particularly at the big test grounds, at places like Lord's. The players' menu is quite unique. I'm sure you filled your boots there many a time.
I honestly wish I could say that I did, but when you're an opening bat, and if you batted at Lord, which I have a few times, it's a lovely wicket.
O'Rourke in, and down the track comes Shanto. He cross bats it down the ground for 4. It was a forearm smash in the end. It was effective. It wasn't that pretty. It was almost eyes closed as he made contact with the ball there, but he moves on to 45.
I think he it was a little bit of a numbers game there. I think he banked on a rope coming into the slot, and he didn't, and he was going through with the shot either way and managed to get away with it. So a little bit of an ugly sort of half tennis shot back over the bowler's head.
95 for 2 then. And as O'Rourke respond, well, he hits him on the pad, Shanto, but it looks to be sliding down the leg side with the angle from around the wicket. Given not out. So Lords, is that top of your rankings?
Definitely. But the problem is, if you're in at lunchtime, and I wasn't someone that wanted to eat a lot of food whilst batting because you don't want that sleepy feeling after a big lunch, but you're just watching.
You won't
all
be running
the fast...
many quick threes, would you?
Well, it was fours or nothing, mate. But you're just watching the quicks tuck into the chocolate dessert and all that stuff.
O'Rourke just past the outside edge of Hridoy.
You even had a menu at Lord's, so you had the Oriental menu, you had the, I think you had the...
It's not a buffet, is it? They come and serve you.
You actually get a menu, like choices, through probably 3 different choices of cuisines, and then you had your desserts as well. Unreal.
I quite like a buffet a bit more than that. Do you know why? It's a bit embarrassing if you want more than one thing off the mains, and if it's a buffet, you can just help yourself, can't you? At Edgbaston, certainly for the media, you can have a full curry and a roast in the same meal. Defensive shot from Hridoy into the covers, no run. Now, if that was on a menu and you say, yeah, I'll just have it all, you'd get a funny look, wouldn't you? They hand you the menu, you just say, yes, please. But it is a different world, isn't it, with cricketers? And obviously, look, diets have improved, fitness has improved vastly across the board generally. You know, maybe not all players take it as seriously as some of the others. Back foot defence from Hridoy to O'Rourke. Just knocked into the offside for no run. I mean, not everybody's going to be sort of a Virat Kohli or a, you know, Faf du Plessis, that level of fitness. But, you know, generally things have improved. But when you go to cricket grounds, you do get the chocolate desserts, even for players. You do get the, you know, the cheesy lasagnas and, you know, the things that maybe other top athletes around the world just wouldn't eat.
You know, the thing that definitely has changed in cricket, the cricket tea. Do you remember the old club cricket tea where you have your Mr. Kipling
sandwiches and the Kipling cakes. Back foot punch by Hridoy out towards cover point.
Now you're being greeted with a protein shake with a banana in it. It's not quite the same. It's not quite as enticing.
Slight gear change there. Right, well, on that note, you go and see what the BBC canteen has to offer, Carbs.
You're right.
And Roshan Alam is back alongside me for the next few overs. Roshan, 97 for 2. Are you fully carved up for this?
I am. I love protein shake and a banana being Carbs' final words for 10 overs.
He's off to find one in the BBC canteen now. Set the example for the kids that he's been coaching. Bracewell continues. Full ball to Hridoy, just flicked to short mid-wicket, no run. solid platform now for Bangladesh. It's perhaps time to kick on and not just play out too many of these dots, turn these dots into ones and twos at least, as Hridoy tries to do by coming down the track there to Bracewell, but still finds short mid-wicket.
Yeah, Bracewell has really, in particular, has really pegged the Tigers back here. I think his run rate is about 3 and over, and Bangladesh need to really push on and click through the gears.
Gives himself some room, moves over to the leg side, lofts this one out towards cover, and it's not quite cleared the field there. Kane Williamson with a brilliant catch, running back from extra cover, ball coming over his shoulder, out of the sunlight. He manages to hang on, and that is outstanding. It might not look as spectacular as some of those diving 2 feet off the ground ones, but I tell you what, those are some of the most difficult catches to take, and Hridoy, the centurion from the last game, is back on his way. Bracewell gets the second.
Well, it's a shot that was almost no need to play, really. Bracewell has been the tidiest of the New Zealand bowlers. He's given away the fewest runs. He was not the bowler you need to take on, especially from Tawhid Hridoy. Up in the air, and a brilliant catch, actually, running away from the ball effectively and sort of seeing it coming over the shoulder. Really great stuff from Williamson.
Hridoy hasn't really found his rhythm in this innings. No boundaries for him, and 7 from 24 balls. A painstaking stay at the crease. Here comes a man with a bit of experience. Mushfiqur Rahim comes in at number 5. Short in stature, but a legendary figure in Bangladesh cricket.
Yeah, a mainstay of that Bangladesh team. They're kind of one of the final 2 of that big 5 who we always speak about.
The 5 pillars.
The 5 pillars, exactly. One of the final 2 standing, more like columns, I guess, now, either side of a door, maybe. Mohamedul and Mushfiq.
Either side of a door.
You know the ones I mean, the Roman pillars they have.
Yes, yeah. I mean,
that's what they've become.
I mean, I suppose your stock rises the older you get, doesn't it? The more success you have. I mean, that's very, very good record that he's got in ODI cricket. Nearly 8,000 runs, average of 36. That's some memorable moments in a Bangladesh shirt across formats, really. Bracewell, though, here with his tail up, 2 for 21 into his 7th over. Rahim immediately lap sweeps him down towards short fine leg, gets off the mark with a single. This is what you do get from him. He looks to innovate, he looks to find different ways to score. He doesn't like to be kept quiet, Mushfiqur Rahim.
Yeah, he's a very kind of calm, confident player. Mr. Dependable is what they call him in Bangladesh, just because he gets the job done. Doesn't always play the flashiest shot. I mean, that last shot aside.
So back round the wicket to Shanto, who's forward in defence, no run. We kind of mentioned it, didn't we? I know you don't like to talk about it. 2016 T20 World Cup. Didn't get the job done there.
Didn't get the job done that day.
That was one of the rare occasions, though. That's been hit uppishly through the covers by Shanto out towards the sweeper on the offside. And it will be a single to finish off the over. So 21 overs gone. Bangladesh 99 for 3. Roshan, you give us some thoughts on what kind of score they'll be targeting from here on in. 29 overs remain in the innings, 99 for 3. Give us your thoughts on that, and then Matt Kabir-Floyd will take over from me.
Well, it's certainly a better start from Bangladesh than we had against India. They'll be pleased with this, 21 overs in, 99 for 3 on the board. However, I think at some point they'll need to start thinking about what sort of target they want to set New Zealand. New Zealand are a team who have pretty much routinely put on 300 plus scores or chased down at a rate that they could go on to score 300. So I would imagine if Bangladesh score sort of 6 and over and get above 300, that's not going to intimidate New Zealand too much. It wouldn't cause them too much bother. So I think they need to, at some point, to think, what are we actually aiming for here, and how do we push on towards that sort of 350 mark?
So it's going to be Mitchell Santner bringing himself on for the first time, the New Zealand captain, to bowl the 22nd over, and he's bowling to a left-hander first up in his opposite number, Shanto. Oh, big turn, hits the pads. Quite a significant appeal by both keeper and captain. Now, will they review this? They come through for a leg bye. It did turn, didn't it? It wasn't tossed up. It was driven into the pitch, probably turning down the leg side.
Yeah, it was a very confident appeal from both sides of the batter, wasn't there? But decided not to go upstairs or appeal. Nothing from the umpire either.
They come through for
Santner just looking to sort of mix things up and create a bit of noise in the field, intimidate the Bangladeshi batters a little bit there. Yeah, certainly got a little bit more turn than we've seen today so far.
We haven't seen much turn at all, have we? Maybe Bracewell turned one that he tossed up, and there was that one there. Santner's the kind of bowler who drives the ball into the pitch a bit more. Slip in for Mushfiqur, and this one is down leg side. It sort of drifted down the leg, and that's going to be a wide.
Slightly loopier delivery as well, which I think particularly Mushfiqur, the Bangladeshi batters, won't be used to, won't particularly enjoy playing. They can play spin very well, but when they're slightly more loopy, and you have to sort of watch the trajectory of the ball, watching where it's going to pitch, it's slightly more difficult to react to.
Work to the leg side, past the diving mid-wicket by Shanto, but there is cover out there at deep mid-wicket, so just a single taken. Got some breaking news for you, actually, concerning England, and it's not great news because Brydon Cast is set to miss the match against Afghanistan on Wednesday. Here comes Santner, this one. A bit slower through the air, but it's well worked into the leg side by Mushfiqur for a single. Cast has been struggling with a blister on a toe on his left foot. The issue reoccurred in Saturday's defeat by Australia. He's a doubt for the remainder of the tournament, which would be a real blow. Jamie Overton, you think would be the most like-for-like replacement. Cut hard by Shanto, well fielded behind square by Matt Henry, I think it was. No run. No, it was Will Young. So Overton perhaps might be the person who comes in for Cast. He's in the squad, of course. Pulled hard. Great fielding by Glenn Phillips at mid-wicket. That was hit hard. Had it got past him, it would have been 4. But he dived, as he so often does, like Superman, hauled it in with 2 hands.
Yeah, it was some very good fielding from New Zealand. Safe having today.
He's in action again. He's such a live wire, Phillips, isn't he? This time scampers around. Can't prevent the single, though, so Santner's first over goes for 5. We will be hearing from Liam Livingstone in the interval as well. He'll be reflecting on England's Champions Trophy campaign so far. Of course, just the one game, that game against Australia. But that is a bit of a blow, isn't it, Cast? Because it does offer a little bit more than Overton with the ball, you would say. Maybe with Overton, you'll get a bit more with the bat.
Yeah, definitely devastating play for, I think, for England. That's not the news you want one game in, particularly after a defeat with the next game against Afghanistan. It'll be interesting to see whether they assume he'll be back before the end of the tournament or replace him.
Down the track is Shanto to Michael Bracewell. Pulls out the aggressive shot and just pushes defensively because he wasn't quite there. Yeah, it doesn't sound that bad. A blister on the toe. Down the track again. This time he eases the ball down too long off for a single. But for a fast bowler, blister on the toe can be very, very painful if you've got to charge in for 10 overs.
Yeah, I can imagine that being agonising, actually. So it sounds like a difficult call to have been made, but for the player, probably the right one, unfortunately.
It's got to be painful if he's a doubt for the rest of the tournament. Mushfiqur wanted a single, sent back by Shanto. Wicketkeeper did well to scamper out to the offside and get to the ball quickly.
Just watching that run rate for Bangladesh starting to dip a little bit. New Zealand are doing very well to contain them and frustrate them. And Bangladesh are going to need to find out some sort of solution to break the shackles here a little bit.
This was quicker, and he pinned Mushfiqur on the back foot, nurdles the ball down to gully, fielder on the gully line, and he's sent back, no single taken. Or he sends back the non-striker, rather, Shanto, who wanted to come through. It's a good period this for New Zealand. Right now, 4.68. Here's the big slog sweep up in the air. Has it got enough legs on it? No. He's picked out Rachin Ravindra. Roshan, you wanted some aggression. You wanted Bangladesh to do something, but that wasn't the solution. He got nowhere near the middle of the bat there, the experienced Mushfiqur, and he has gone for 2. Bangladesh, 106 for 4.
Frustration starting to creep in with the Bangladeshis. They know that run rate has started to creep down a little bit. They know they need a big 300-plus score, and Mushfiqur Rahim just playing out of his comfort zone a little bit, going for a shot that he didn't need to go for, and in the end caught a couple of metres from the boundary. Disappointing for Mushfiq, not having the best tournament so far. Mr. Dependable not living up to his name.
And I think from a Bangladeshi point of view, they'll look at all 4 dismissals and feel that giveaways really, in many ways, not fantastic deliveries by any stretch of the imagination, particularly the last 2, I think.
Yeah.
Tawhid Hridoy, who's in good form, trying to make room against Michael Bracewell, hit him over the offside, was nowhere near the length to do that, and just toe-ended the ball up into the air. Good catch by Kane Williamson. And then there, Mushfiqur Rahim trying to go over the man out at deep mid-wicket, but it's quite a long hit out there. He got nowhere near it, and that's a 3rd wicket now for Bracewell. 3 for 24 of 7.5 overs, but without doing too much, really. Just regulation off-spinner.
Absolutely.
And he's just bowled with consistent line and length.
Well, here's the thing. There was a lot of talk during the Bangladesh Premier League of how the boundaries have been brought in, potentially to create higher scores and entertaining TV images, but it seems to have caught Bangladesh off guard, because they are getting caught out a couple of metres from the boundary over and over and over again since then, so that tactic seems to have backfired somewhat.
Well, Nikesh Ragani will be happy, I think, because Mahmudullah's in. An obsession for Mahmudullah early. He was talking about him a lot, wasn't he? Yeah.
Mahmudullah's found a new fan this morning. I don't know if he expected it this late in his career.
Super fan. Oldest player, 39 years old, with his long beard. He props forward, defends off the middle of the bat, back to Bracewell, end of the over, 106 for 4 of 23 overs. Bracewell's figures excellent, 3 for 24 of 8 overs. But I can see why he's a bit obsessed with Mahmudullah. He is a legend, isn't he? Both him and Mushfiqur. It's great to see them still playing. He is Bangladesh's firefighter down the order as well, isn't he, Mahmudullah? The man for this situation.
Yeah, I mean, his entire career highlights have been made up of coming in when Bangladesh have made a poor start, and historically that sort of 6, 7, 8 batting position for Bangladesh have always been there, fighting fires. I remember in the noughties it was Khalid Marshood, the wicketkeeper, coming in, save it. There's throwback, here's throwback, but that number 7, 8 always firefighting.
That's going to be 50 for the captain, Nazmul Hossain Shanto. Much needed as well. He just works to the leg side. His 50 comes off 71 deliveries. He was out of form, promoted himself to the opening position. He's off the back of a second ball duck against India, a bad Bangladesh Premier League as well. This was much needed.
Hugely needed. Nazmul Hossain Shanto, I think his nerves and calm slightly. He'll have shaken off that bad form tag that sort of followed him around for the last couple of months. He needed a good score today, and he started off nervy, started off slowly, but seems to have pulled it back a little bit. And now he just needs to push on and get Bangladesh to a decent target here today.
You sense quite a crucial partnership this, the next 10 overs or so. Bangladesh need to keep these 2 together, work their way up to a decent score here. Mahmudullah's off the mark, just turns this ball off the front foot into the leg side, into the gap. Can we go back to Khalid Marshood?
Absolutely, please do. They used to call him Pilot.
Pilot?
That was a nickname. I don't know, just to navigate the team through difficult situations. There was a point where he captained the side, and there were rumours in Bangladesh cricket that the reason he was captain was because as wicketkeeper he was least likely to be dropped, which is a wonderful, wonderful reason to pick someone as captain.
There was Khalid Marshood and Khalid Mahmood as well, wasn't it?
Yeah, both captained the side at different periods. Khalid Mahmood, I think, captain during, I think it was the 2003 World Cup. It was a very unsuccessful one, then gave up the captaincy, and then Khalid Marshood took over. But yeah, he'd come in at number 7 because he'd keep wicket, pick up the bat and try and save the innings, quite often run out of partners. So I think I'll have to have a look at his not out stats, but I think they're fairly high.
Single taken off the previous ball. This one's driven into the pitch, but down the leg side by Santner, and it is going to be signalled a wide. 110 for 4 in the 24th over.
It'll be interesting to see how Mahmudullah comes in here, because he obviously missed the first game through, I think, a calf injury.
Through the air from Santner. He's just starting to find his rhythm now. 50 miles an hour, that one.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if he's fully shaken off that injury, or if he's been rushed into the squad today as a bit of a fire engine as ever to try and stabilise that batting order.
deliveries as he faces up to Santner, who again drifts down the leg side. He's done that 3 times now, usually so accurate. New Zealand new white ball captain. Mahmudullah just speaking to Shanto there. His grey flecks in his long beard. That's a nice shot off the back foot. He just back foot punches this through the gap to the boundary rider, takes a single. He'll keep the strike. 112 for 4 actually has 1 ball left in the over after that wide.
Bangladesh just need to push on here. It's difficult to do with a new batter in Mahmudullah. Probably still feeling out how fit he is. I'm not convinced he's fully fit, but I think.
Punched this time by the left-hander Shanto, so he will keep the strike for a single. 6 singles, 2 wides off that Santner over. Not at his best, 113 for 4 off 24 overs.
Yeah, I think he'll potentially have just pushed himself to be ready for this game because it is an ICC tournament and Bangladesh are not in the best way of the batting. He had a long batting session in the nets yesterday, but that was his first since arriving, well, since his tournament started. So it'll be interesting to watch him and see what pace he goes at. He is a very patient batter, but he can obviously clear the rope occasionally as well. But I think his contribution now, combined with Shanto, is going to be crucial for Bangladesh trying to get up to a formidable total, which at the moment, it's starting to slow down a little bit. It's just dipping under 5 and over. Bangladesh need to find runs from somewhere.
Bracewell continues, and the singles continue. Shanto showing the full face of the bat, driving down the ground too long off. They trot through. It's great to see Mahmudullah and Mushfiqur Rahim still there, 39 and 38 respectively, I believe.
Brother-in-laws as well.
Is that right?
Yeah, they are related. I always wonder when they're in the middle together, what are they talking about? Dinner or the cricket?
The wives. Clip to mid-wicket, no run taken. It's great to see them still there to sort of shepherd them through this period. But do you feel that this is very much a transitional period for Bangladesh with Shakib out of the picture? Oh, he tries to lap sweep Mahmudullah. Got down very early, but misses the ball. It's taken down the leg side. I don't think wide is going to be given, though. It was quite close to the leg stump. Do you feel that with Shakib clearly about to end on the way out, he's been banned from bowling at the moment, actually, hasn't he? Not picked for this tournament. Leading edge from Mahmudullah out to mid-off, no run. Do you feel this very much is a period of transition?
Yeah, I'll be honest, it's felt like a very long period of transition. Like, I remember 2019 World Cup, which is now 6 years ago, we were like, Mushrafi Mortat's the first of that 5, he's retiring, and we weren't sure when the other lot were going to go.
Good ball, he went deep in his crease. Mahmudullah tossed up by Bracewell. It's just defended straight back to him.
We always thought Shakib would last the longest, his fitness, his ability. I think he as a player wanted to sort of almost Cristiano Ronaldo-esque last as long as he could. But I think Tamim Iqbal, he retired sooner than we thought he would.
Finishes with a dot, tidy over from Bracewell. This one's just worked straight to square leg. Frustration for Mahmudullah. He's 2 off 9 deliveries.
Yeah, Tamim had that big falling out with Shakib in the 2023 World Cup, and that was the last time we saw of him. And then obviously Shakib now with this whole bowling situation, not being picked as a specialist batter.
Could he have been picked as a specialist batter?
My understanding is he potentially could. Well, he hasn't played in Bangladesh for a very long time. He's not come back because of the sort of political unrest and his association with the political parties. So since then, he's only played, I think, like the away test matches, but the selectors felt he didn't have the form. He's played in a few sort of like T20 leagues around the world and stuff, but the selectors didn't feel that they had a place for him in this lineup, but just as a batter.
Mitch Santner, full, clipped into the leg side by Shanto. Bangladesh just dealing in singles at the moment.
So yeah, I mean it's transitional, but I think of the 5 of them, Mahmudullah and Mushfiq weren't who anyone would have their money on to be the kind of final 2 standing, if I'm honest. What we actually have bizarrely now is because the focus has been on those 5 players, we have a lot of experienced players in the team, like Shomar Sharka, Liton Das, who've never had to step up to that role yet.
Another dot to Mahmudullah, who just can't find the gaps at the moment. He tries to push to the offside and can only find the bowler. Liton Das is another interesting one, isn't he? Because he wasn't picked for this tournament either, hasn't been in great form, but he's someone who's been a mainstay of the side, as is Mahmudullah, who finally gets one through the infield for a single out to deep backward square leg.
Yeah, for a very long time, it was Tamim Iqbal top of the order, and then it would be Liton Das or Sumar Saka, and it was almost like they'd toss a coin to decide who was going to play that day. But Litton, yeah, I mean, I think the concern with Litton is everyone had figured him out. You know, they literally said in the press conference, people know how to get him out now. That was a problem.
Shanto is doing well at rotating the strike at the moment. This time he pushes down to long on. He's such a talented player though, isn't he? Listen, Darcy, you watch him in terms of being a ball striker. Not many Bangladeshis I've seen over the years that strike it as cleanly as he does,
No,
so
absolutely.
easily.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, a lot of people think is Bangladesh's best batter, which is quite a statement, you know. But it just struggled to find form of late, and they opted to not go with him.
No run once again off the back foot. Punch to Glenn Phillips at cover.
And I think that decision was compounded by the fact Somal Sarkar was having a brilliant BPL. He scoring runs, got injured, came back, carried on scoring runs, and it was hard to ignore him, even though the format is different. So yeah, Litton Dars on the sidelines was a surprise, but I think he'll be back as a sort of quality player he will be.
Very full, and that shouldn't have been a single. A rare bit of bad fielding by a New Zealander. This time it's the captain. It was punched back to Santner. Should have got away with the dot ball, but somehow the ball squirmed through his long barrier and got to long off. So Mamadullah gets a single, 118 for 4 off 26 overs. Shanto, 55 not out off 76 balls. Mamadullah just getting himself in. He's 4 off 13 as it stands. 24 overs to go. What do you think from here? Having seen the pitch, would be a competitive total, Russia?
I think they're going to need 300 plus. I don't think a 300 score is going to scare New Zealand at all, if I'm honest. I think they've pretty much consistently scored at 6 and over since getting to Pakistan, so anything less than that is not going to be intimidating.
Down the track goes Mamadullah. Big outside edge chance taken by Will O'Rourke. He completely lost his shape there. Mamadullah, his patience had worn out pretty quickly. He tried to hoik to the leg side, but he's not a big turner of the ball, Bracewell, is he? And all he could do was skew it off the outside edge to Will O'Rourke, who was behind square on the offside, and he just trotted around to his right and patched a safe catch.
I'm not really sure he knew where that went. He sort of ended up on one foot and sent the ball behind him. He sort of almost followed it with his helmet going, where did that go? Not a clean shot from Mamadullah, not a good ending. With that, he's out, and Bangladesh, I think now we're in trouble. I think 300 looks a very, very long way off at 118 for 5.
I was going to say, do you want to revise that now, Roshan?
So Bangladesh aim for like 220, 230 maybe.
I must say, I thought 300 anyway, a bit ambitious. I think what you've got to be careful of here is aiming too high.
Yeah, I think Bangladesh would just watch the modern game. They'll watch the tri-series between New Zealand, South Africa and Pakistan. They'll have seen that 300 is the new normal. That's how you win games. And Bangladesh has spoken about being this new side that go to win games. They don't just turn up, they don't go for an upset, they don't go for individual scores. They need to go into these games aiming to win, but the plan just hasn't been executed in either of these 2 games, and they've seemingly squandered a good start here.
I think they'll be very disappointed, in particular with the 2 vastly experienced men and the shots they've just played. Mushfiqur Rahim trying to play the slog sweep, picking out Rachin Ravindra on the deep mid-wicket boundary, and then Mamadullah there just losing his patience completely, and his head and his shape on the shot, trying to hoik to the leg side. Maybe should have just tried to go straight back over the bowler's head, and the thick outside edge brings a relatively simple catch for Will O'Rourke, and that's 4 wickets for Michael Bracewell. Brilliant figures, 9.1 overs, 4 wickets for 25 runs, and he hasn't had to do too much, really. He's just been consistent. There's no mystery to him at all. He's just waited for the mistake.
He's played very sensibly, and he's been the undoing of Bangladesh. He's tightened the runs, he's taken the wickets, he's done a brilliant all-round job with the ball today. Phenomenal stuff. And now we have Jakir Ali in. It'll be interesting to see how he approaches this innings, because Jakir Ali is sort of there as Bangladesh's finisher. Found himself at the crease in the 6th over against India the other day, and looked uncomfortable trying to like see out balls, really, because he's so used to just going for it. So it'll be interesting to see how he approaches it in the 27th over of this match.
Yeah, crucial 68 against India. Drop first ball by Rohit Sharma, an absolute sitter at slip, which would have been a hat-trick for Akshar Patel, and it wasn't. So that enabled Toyd and Jaka to put on over 150, get them up to a defendable score. Jaka's first ball from Bracewell, who's on a fifer. New Zealand off-spinner.
He's guided by Jaka down to deep third, another 1 onto the total.
Like, you look at the blast, for example. Everyone plays in yellow and navy blue. but different ways around. So some have the top, some have the pants, some, yeah, but it's generally the same. Navy blue and yellow tend to be the safe, was plate safe. We'll play
Leicestershire, you got the red and the green.
Yeah, then you get some that go outside the box.
Outside the box, yeah.
Yeah.
But you're right, there are a lot of similar kits. Even in the IPL, you mentioned KKR, they're the odd one out. Down the track comes Shanto, and he drives, but just out of the reach of Jameson. It was slightly uppish. Judging by the reaction of a couple of the fielders and Jameson himself, might have been a chance. It looks to have taken a bit of a blow to his thumb there as well. Let's take a look at this. No, it was on the bounce.
It was on the run out. Yeah.
Yeah, it could have been the run out, the non-strikers then, couldn't it? Jakar Ali out of his ground, and yeah, it would have been a long way gone. Almost directed it onto the stumps there, did Jameson.
That would have been a very sleepy way to get out. That would almost cap off how this innings has gone, really, hasn't it? It's just been a little bit one sleepy dismissal after another, really.
Jakar back on strike for the start of a new over. Mitch Santner is in. It's full. It's been driven straight back to the bowler. No run. I mean, Shanto's played well, but apart from that, everyone else has just kind of been there, and then they haven't. It's been quite uneventful for the large parts of it. We did see some good shots from Nazmul Hossain at the top of the order, but once the power play was done with, it's been nothing much of note. 138 for 5 into the 32nd over. Jakar backs away. Can't beat that offside field again.
I think what's been disappointing from a batting perspective watching Bangladesh is the way they've played the likes of Bracewell, who haven't really turned the ball very much, and predominantly having a right-handed batting lineup.
Santner just, again, on that off-stump line, they just can't get him away. Another defensive shot for no run.
It's almost shown a skill that's gone out of the game. You know, batsmen prepared to leave the crease and hit downtown. You know, everyone's, again, from T20 mode, is just trying to stand there from the crease, trying to biff it.
Jakar moves leg side. Santner follows him, but he does manage to flick it away for a single to square leg.
You know, and it's not the biggest boundary straight at Rawalpindi today. You know, you always talk about in old money. It's the biggest gap on any field is to hit the ball straight back over the bowler's head and hit the ball to. I think I've seen one attempt from Mahedi who did it very, very well. He came down the track, lovely strike. But since then, it's almost like they've gone back in their shell, trying to play from the crease.
Santner completes his over to Shanto, who pulls away to deep square leg. And we'll get another singles, so just 2 from that Santner over. He's bowled 6 overs, none for 26. Bangladesh 140 for 5 after 32 overs. The crowd starting to come in a few more numbers. The seats filling up around Rawalpindi as the evening descends upon us, but I'm not sure they'll be totally thrilled with what they're seeing at the moment.
I would suggest they get in very quickly because there might not be much of a game at this rate.
Well, you'd see another couple of wickets fall. If Shanto was to go soon, you know, Rishad Hussain, as we mentioned, can play a little cameo, but there's not a lot after that. So a lot does depend on these two, which is probably why they're taking their time before they launch, because they know they've just not got much left. Well, that's a clever delivery there from Jameson, just slightly rolling his fingers off it, or maybe a cross-seam delivery, just not quite coming on as Shanto would expect. Ball hitting him on the hip as he attempted to pull, and there's no run.
And for me, this is what throws interesting light on some of New Zealand's tactics. I think they're also being a bit conservative. They're very much in the driving seat. I'm not sure where they're expecting to get a dismissal at deep point. I mean, is there not case in point to bring some fielders up in the circle, try and entice Shanto into a bit of a panic shot, as we've seen there?
Jameson in to Shanto, who again chops it straight to point, no run.
You know, even if it's not in a catching position, because obviously at this stage the ball isn't doing a hell of a lot, But I think you've got to give your big quicks. You know, this is the time now to, like you say, to try. If you can crack this open, if you can get rid of Shanto and get into that real lower order now, you could break this thing open and bowl them out for 180 if possible. I think you've got to, as from a New Zealand point of view, you don't really want this to meander to 50 overs.
Jamieson goes short and Shanto pulls to square leg. Bit of work to do for the sweeper, does it well. Phillips, I think it was, on the boundary, keeps it down to a single. Just saw a replay, it was Conway in fact, a replay of the last couple of deliveries at the non-striker's end. Jakar Ali is definitely a victim for a run out of the non-striker's end. He's striding a long way down the pitch. Almost got run out a couple of overs ago when Jamieson nearly deflected the ball onto the stumps. Here he is facing up to Jamieson and pulls him round the corner towards deep backward square. Another single on the board.
And as a coach, you'd be very annoyed if he was to get run out, because again, it's one of those things where should you be wandering out that far out before the bowler's bowled? No.
And as a coach of New Zealand, seeing that on the TV, you might send somebody out with a drink and a message to say, run him out of the non-striker's end. Difficult for a big fast bowler when he's in full flow, but with the spinner at the other end, you never know. Dot ball from Jamieson into Shanto, who just defends away to point.
Yeah, you know, just looking at said the field for Jamieson, you know, deep point, deep square leg. I understand he's obviously trying to bowl straight, but I'm not really sure to Shanto much has gone through that offside. I would be a little bit braver personally. I would go for the jugular now. I'd try and get him out, entice him to almost try and play something through that offside.
Final ball of the over is cut away out towards point. Will just be another single. So 3 from the 33rd over of the innings. Not what we're often used to seeing, just couple here, couple there off each over at this stage of an ODI innings. But such is the need, I guess, for Bangladesh to preserve wickets now. 143 for 5 after 33. That run rate just over 4.3 and over. And you can't see really where they're going to get anywhere near 250, 260, and even that is not going to be anywhere near enough for New Zealand, you wouldn't have thought, on this pitch.
No, definitely not. I mean, you have to be realistic. I think Bangladesh best option now.
This next ball is flicked away by Shanto of Santner to square leg, but no run.
I think Bangladesh best hope now is, can they try and bat out most of these sort of 16 and a bit overs left and try and eat their way up to maybe a 210, something like that.
He's just back in the crease, Shanto, finding a gap on the offside for a single, yes, but it was a full ball, and he's been going back to quite a few of those very full deliveries which aren't bouncing all that high from Santner. He's an LBW candidate for sure against the left arm spin. Santner coming round the wicket to the right-handed Jakar. Floats one, gives it a bit more air time. It's driven straight to mid-off. Quick single taken. That was better running. Probably would have been home, even if the throw was a direct hit.
Yeah, as I said before, I think just for a nation of batters who generally come from spin-friendly conditions, I've been a little bit disappointed in how their game plan against the New Zealand spinners, who there's no real mystery with their spinners. So let's be honest, they're pretty orthodox spinners in their own right, all finger spinners. I think at this stage in particular, is there not the time now to start using their feet and trying to hit Santner in particular, left-arm spinner, left-handed batter who's in on 65 off 96 balls? Is there not occasions, rather than going back trying to poke at the ball, to come down and try and hit and access the side screen back over his head?
Which is not what he's doing. Next ball was defended, as is that one, but it's more of a push actually. Beats short mid-wicket this time from Shanto, so it will be another single to end the over. Another over with just 3 from it. 34 gone. Bangladesh crawling to 146 for 5. There was a kid holding a sign in the crowd just now saying, "Kiwis, get ready for a Bangla bashing." They're still waiting. I think they're still waiting at this stage.
And at the end, it was pending, ...
Buffering. It always reminds me of being a Leicester City fan in the old football. Not having a great season this time, but you can always hark back to memories of winning the Premier League in 2015-16 when Tottenham Hotspur and Harry Kane said, "We're coming for you." We're still waiting for them, to be honest. They finished third in a 2-horse race, didn't they?
As an Arsenal fan, I won't go there. No.
But you managed to finish second that year.
Again. Buffering.
Although, to be fair, at that point in time, that was sort of, signs of making a comeback after moving to the new stadium and not competing for a while. But you've been disappointed man over the last couple of days, I guess, with the result.
Yes, thank you, Nikesh. It's been
not to rub it in. I mean, I'd love to see Arsenal win the title this year, just to mix it up.
I think I've got to be honest. I just re-emerged from behind the sofa some point on Sunday to watch the Liverpool Man City match.
You're going to say India, Pakistan, and that
as well. Yeah, it was a disappointing loss. Obviously, Liverpool looks strong. It's going to be another mountain to climb, I feel, but much like Bangladesh at the moment.
Absolutely, yep. Big mountain to climb as the players just finish off their drinks break here. 34 overs gone, 146 for 5. Remember, New Zealand won the toss, decided to have a bowl first in very batter-friendly conditions, but Mitch Santner suggesting that the conditions will get a little bit easier to bat later on. Not that they've been terribly difficult. The pitch hasn't really had any demons in it. It's got a nice look about it. A little bit of grass, but that was more for the carry, I guess, early on. Lights are on now. We're into the evening. Dew will probably set in at some point. And, wherever you are, good day to you. Good morning, just about, in the UK, if you're listening on BBC Sounds or on 5 Sports Extra, or good afternoon, good evening, good very early morning, depending on which part of the world you're in. If you're listening on the ICC app or any of our partner stations around the world. Nikesh Rugani, Matt Kabir-Floyd, former England opener Michael Carberry, and as we introed him earlier, current North Enfield all-rounder Roshan Alam, our Bangladesh cricket expert. The team with you today and produced by Jack Wood, who's doing a sterling job getting us to air. Some memories of the Champions Trophy from 2009 just popped up on our screen. England 146 all out in 43.1 overs. New Zealand, well, there was 6 down when they got to that 147, but they did it in just over 27 overs. So I'd say that's pretty comprehensive.
Short day.
Short day. Short day's a good day often if you're a player, isn't it? Or indeed a commentator sometimes. Wasn't going to say it, but we all think it, don't we? We like to see exciting matches, that's the thing.
Course.
And sometimes if matches are meandering along and you've got, 10 of them in 12 days, traveling and all those sorts of things, can often benefit you just to have the odd one which finishes a bit earlier. Right, let's get back underway with Glenn Phillips into the attack for the first time with his off spin into Shanto, who pulls away a short delivery to deep mid-wicket. And there is a single. Devon Conway with the fielding out there. He'll be thinking about his batting and how he approaches his innings at some point soon as we get into the backstage of this Bangladesh first innings. Good to see some of the New Zealand players spending time with some kids in Pakistan, doing a bit of coaching, a bit of community work. Phillips in, and Jacka is back defending for no run.
I wonder at the drinks break what the tactical talk would have been from Coach Phil Simmons to his batters on how they're going to approach someone like Glenn Phillips. Do you sort of let him bowl, or do you go after him?
Well, they're respecting him at the moment. Certainly Jakar Ali is. He's defended a couple of balls into the leg side. Well, they've got to target someone. And you think he'd be the best option at this stage. No great turn at the moment. Does come down the track, does Jakar, but he yorks himself and just hits it straight back to the bowler. So this is all bonus stuff for New Zealand. Just one off the first 4 balls of Glenn Phillips over. Phillips with 23 on his back. Was outside off, and he's been punched off the back foot by Jakar to deep cover. Another one. Can't remember the last boundary we saw.
Yeah, it's been a tough grind for the Bangladeshi batsman today. I think just again it's synonymous with probably a team low in confidence. Certainly with the bat at the moment, they're not playing very well. There isn't that confidence to feel like they can take this attack apart.
Another single to finish off the over to Shanto down towards long on. So 35 overs gone. Bangladesh 149 for 5. And want to give us a few more thoughts on what they can do to turn this tide, Cubs. I'll hand you over to Matt Kabir-Floyd.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're obviously a team low on confidence, as we touched upon before. They're very much a team in transition. They haven't got those power hitters, power players down the back end of their innings. I think what they can do from here in the near term is, I think there's just got to be that little bit of bravery now to say, well, look, someone like Glenn Phillips, who is essentially a part-time off-spinner, who's looking to just rattle through some overs to, you know, allow those big quicks to rest up. I think you've got to be brave in those situations. I think you've got to try and break out of this mold somehow. Play some positive cricket again. Just if you want, as long as you pick some good options, you look to hit the ball straight. I just think New Zealand will be more than happy with this, with them just happy to sit back and nudge and nurdle and deflect.
Well, one of those big quicks is back. Here's Will O'Rourke. Starts with the ball on leg stump. It's turned away to deep fine leg by Shanto. They're going to come back for 2. Haven't hit a boundary since the 28th over. Bangladesh. That was Jakar Ali swept 4 off Mitchell Santner. So they need to improve on that, really, don't they? You can't go for 7, 10 overs in the middle overs and not hit a boundary. That's actually something that New Zealand do really well. Middle overs is a real strong point for them. Best run rate since the 2023 World Cup, New Zealand, in the middle overs. Round the wicket is O'Rourke. This is punched down the ground, straight as a die. The chase is on for Matt Henry from mid-on. The ball wins. So finally, 7 overs approximately after the last one, Bangladesh have a boundary. It's a lovely straight drive from Nazmul Hossain Shanto.
Yeah, you got your wish there, Floydie. Like, as I've been saying, look, yeah, best place to hit the ball straight. There's no real swing. There's no demons in this pitch. It's actually played pretty well when the bowlers have got it wrong, hasn't it? It's one of those you can feel you can hit through the line, especially Shanto, who's now invested 102 balls at the crease. He should know this pitch very, very well, and I think he's just got to now start to put the foot down a little bit now against these bowlers, put them under pressure.
It's better length that from O'Rourke, just back of the length slightly, that one, so nothing doing there for Shanto. He just prods into the ground for a dot ball. Mid-on and mid-off were both up there, so he had his opportunity to try and go straight over the top, and they might get more opportunities like that. Are they going to take the risk and just try and go up and over the infield if the ball allows it? We'll have to take the odd risk here. There's only 14.5 overs left. 155 for 5. Around the wicket again, it's O'Rourke. It's full. Clip straight to mid-wicket. No run.
Yeah, again, you know, as you look at sort of the way Shanto sort of sets up, you feel he's someone very dependent on trying to hit the ball square the wicket. He doesn't sort of have much of a power game, or he's less comfortable hitting the ball downtown. But even that length you talk about, I mean, you know, he's been in now, he knows the pace of the pitch. You know, I've also been a little bit disappointed in the fact that they've very little singles on offer been taken as well. It's almost looking exclusively for the boundaries.
Here's O'Rourke, big figure of O'Rourke, bangs this in, and he almost half pulls out of the hook shot there, Shanto. He does get a bit of bat on it. I think it came off the bat anyway, and the ball dribbles out to deep backward square leg for a single.
Yeah, I think you'd almost be pleased he did hit that one, I think, because I feel if he got anywhere near middle of bat on it, with the way things have gone, it probably would have gone down to deep backward square legs. So probably the best result for all. But New Zealand be loving this, obviously. They can just tick along, really. Their bowlers are under no duress whatsoever.
Yeah, they've all been pretty steady, haven't they? No one's conceding more than 5.5 runs and over at this stage of the bowlers. It's wide from O'Rourke. Chance for a cut through his hands at that jacket, but he missed the ball. And in fact, it didn't really bounce very much. It bounced before it got through to the keeper. So 7 off O'Rourke's 7th over. He's 1 for 36 at the moment. In fact, let's go through the figures, shall we? Matt Henry, 4 overs, none for 21. Carl Jameson, 7 overs, none for 38. Michael Bracewell, the off-spinner, definitely the pick of the bowlers. Brilliant stuff from him. Career best figures, 10 overs, 4 for 26, without much turn as well. O'Rourke, 7 overs, 1 for 36. Santner, 7 overs, none for 29. And the 6th bowler, Glenn Phillips, has only bowled 1 over so far. 1 over, none for 3. He's going to continue around the wicket to the left-handed Shanto's on 75. Again, can't find the single. He just picks out mid-wicket. It's another dot ball. This was a feature of Pakistan's innings yesterday, wasn't it? So many dot balls, particularly in the first 20 overs or so, and that really cost Pakistan. Can't afford many at this stage of the innings. Here's Phillips again. This one's shorter. This time he finds the single, punches off the back foot to long on.
That was a great example you made. Was that Pakistan innings versus the India innings reply. You saw how Virat Kohli was scrambling up and down the pitch, only hit 5 boundaries in 100. You know, so that shows you levels, right? And what can be done without the power game. You know, finding different ways of scoring.
Yeah, it was a masterclass, wasn't it, from Kohli yesterday? Really enjoyed it. Jacka gets 1. Down to long on. What do you make of this New Zealand side then? Because when you look at it, I would say maybe on paper it's not quite as strong as some previous sides. If you look at, say, the sides that would have Trent Boult, would have Tim Southey, batting still looks very strong, I'll give you that, but seam bowling a bit more inexperienced. No Lockie Ferguson. As Philip continues around the wicket, sweep shot comes out from Shanto again, just a single to short fine. Haven't really been talked about too much as contenders to win the whole thing, but do you think they are really, particularly if they run through Bangladesh here? They will be through alongside India. Who's to say they can't beat India and finish top of the group? Because that could make a difference in terms of who you play. You may avoid South Africa if you do that, if South Africa win the other group. Hit hard. Good use of the feet by Jacka Ali, and that's flat, 1 bounce, 4. Exactly what the doctor ordered.
Yes, more of that, please. Use your feet. No turn. Right-handed bat. Hit the ball straight. Beautiful shot from Jacka. That's more of that. That's what's required now. Bit of bravery. Back yourselves. Let's see what we can do. If we can nudge up and over 200, maybe 220 at a push. If they can stay together for a little bit longer, it's definitely on. Yeah, I mean, I think New Zealand, Floydie, will always be a team that will punch above the names that are on the bit of paper. And I think that's why they're such a great side to watch in tournament play.
Well fielded. He wanted the single there. It was clipped behind, square on the leg side by Jack. He was sent back, though, because square leg sprawled and got the ball in. So that was a good bit of fielding by Mitch Santner to prevent the single there.
like I look at this particular New Zealand team, and I think there's loads to like about the team they're building at the moment. I think they're just starting to get a nice blend of guys that have been around long enough, but coming into their peak. Some good young emerging players coming through as well. I think I said before, if I was going to lobby any sort of criticism or mild criticism at the particular lineup, it would be perhaps a lack of variety amongst the bowling. So I would like to see, say, a Trent Bolt replacement, because you will never find too many of those, but a left-arm seamer perhaps, a leg spinner perhaps, something with a bit of mystery, because I feel when they do come up against, and this is obviously no disrespect to Bangladesh, but when you come up against maybe the stronger sides like your New Zealands, your South Africas, I think you need, sometimes the difference will be just in terms of the mystery. You know, India have Kuldeep, those kind of things. South Africa have like a Shamsi who they can call upon. You know, something a bit different, a bit unusual, just as a variety.
Will O'Rourke's first ball beats the outside edge. His second ball is going to be a chance. Skied pull shot. Good catch in the end. Michael Bracewell coming in from mid-wicket. The ball actually maybe could have been caught by the bowler because it was taken just behind the stumps. Would have been hard, I suppose, for Will O'Rourke to turn around and come back for it, but it went absolutely nowhere from Nazmul Hossain Shanto, trying to get another pull shot away, and it's another hammer blow for Bangladesh. 6 down now.
Yeah, and it's just the man they didn't want to get out, really, wasn't it? The skipper who's tried to hold this innings together. He's been at the crease 110 balls. He's never really looked fluent throughout the whole innings, really, and just almost a shot he's been playing very well throughout the whole innings, which was the pull shot, and that one just got a little bit big on him. Probably again hit those tufts of grass we talked about early in the show about, you know, just from those taller men, and he got onto him a little bit too quick. But yeah, he departs, and further body blow for Bangladesh.
Good innings by the skipper though, 77 off 110. Next top scorer at the moment, 24, so vital and important runs for him as well, because he was going through a bad trot. He really was. He needed that, so maybe just going up the order to open has helped him out a little bit, just freed his mind, and he was able to loosen up as well, play some shots. 163 for 6, 37.2 overs, and that means that Rishad Hossain comes to the crease. Very exciting batter to watch, actually, because he absolutely tees off. His strike rate, small sample size, but in ODIs, is 162 in 8 games. So he generally doesn't die wondering. The tall leg spinner. A few useful runs here would help, wouldn't it? Very full from O'Rourke, and he just dead bats that for a dot.
I think he's in a bit of a quandary now, isn't he? Because there's still a long way to go. I mean, it's still best part of nearly 12 and a bit overs to go. Does he want to go out hard from ball 1 and run the risk of them being bowled out under 50 overs? I mean, that would be criminal on this pitch, wouldn't it? Really, there's no demons. I mean, what do you do at this stage if you're someone like him who likes to play in that aggressive form, but you don't want to leave yourself short.
And that's the problem when you lose wickets and you get someone like Rishad in a bit too early, banged in short outside the off stump. He could have cut that, really. He lets it go through to Tom Latham, but the arms have come out from the umpire, so it is a wide. Maybe a bit unfortunate there, Will O'Rourke. It wasn't that wide. Just looking at a replay of the wicket again, I probably was unfair on Will O'Rourke. There was no way he was turning around and getting back and taking a quarter bowl there. No way. It was going to be mid-on or mid-wicket, and Bracewell did well. 18 metres he covered to take the ball pretty much where the umpire was standing. Bit of extra pace and bounce from O'Rourke. Again, he bangs this one in short, and this time Rishad is away, dabs down to deep third. Kane Williamson style.
Yeah, very much so. Yeah, I think O'Rourke, so he's sort of slowly got himself into this spell, really, hasn't he? I don't think he started particularly great. He was a little bit erratic. Started off with a few balls that were a little bit too short, too wide. But since coming back with the older ball, he's certainly locked in on a real tight line to these batters now. He's not giving them any real width to work with, and at good pace still. He's still up around 142.
And this one is pushed to backward point for a dot ball. Yeah, he's got up to 88, 89 mile an hour consistently, Will O'Rourke. He's a really promising young bowler for New Zealand. He kind of burst onto the scene, mainly in Test cricket, about a year ago. 9 wickets on his Test debut against South Africa. Made his ODI debut against Bangladesh, actually, December 2023. He's in decent form. 3 wickets against Pakistan. Bowled really well with the new ball. Goes past the outside edge. Jacques Ali looks to the heavens. He feels he had a chance to score there off the back foot. But in the end, it's a good end to the over. 2 dots, wicket in the over 2, and only 2 runs from it. 2 for 38 is O'Rourke, and Bangladesh 165 for 6 off 38.
Yeah, this innings is very much meandering to a bit of a timid end, really, for Bangladesh. I thought, as I said, O'Rourke is bowled beautifully, really. I think that's just the perfect line, the perfect length to new batsmen. As I said, with a little bit of indifferent bounce, you know, get the ball in around that sort of top of off-stump channel. He's been a great find. As I said, I think looking at that New Zealand team going forward, I think they're just building something very much under the radar, but they're just building a nice blend of a team. You still got Williamson, again, that experience.
Santner's back, the new captain, replacing Phillips. Dot ball, Mitchell Hossain showing a nice straight bat, pushed back to the New Zealand skipper. You can see it's not too hot now. Sun's going down, very pleasant out there. It's low 20s in Rawalpindi. It's going to get colder as well. Very full, driven to cover. They have, of course, along with the Gaddafi Stadium in Lahore and the stadium in Karachi, they have refurbished this ground alongside the other 2 for the ICC Champions Trophy. Another dot ball. He just dead bats this. Mitchell Santner, and watch it dribble past the stumps, almost bowls him to the wicketkeeper. Yeah, I'm told that the refurbishment includes upgraded main pavilion and media boxes, new seating, LED floodlights, improved hospitality boxes. We've got it all done in time. Another dot. Good start this by Santner. 4 dots in a row.
Yeah, again, there's no massive turn. I mean, Santner's just a very clever left-arm spinner, mixes his pace very well, uses his angles.
There's dot number 5. Defended out, too short, fine leg.
I think that just that delivery alone, I mean, you've got to be trying to use your feet, look to hit mid-on, at least try and get a 1, try and get off strike. You can't just be happy playing forward and just watching dot ball after dot. You know, he's going to bowl a maiden here if they're not careful.
Wow, that is so good. You heard Tom Latham saying it there on the stump mic. So good, Mitch Santner. That's a maiden. His first of the innings. It's the 39th over of the first innings, and you bowl a maiden. And the batter really not showing much intent there to score. It was generally just push forward on the front foot and defend either to the leg side or the offside. And Mitchell Santner, a guy who's got a strike rate of over 160 in ODIs, and as you say, he's just unsure how to play it. And at the moment, he's gone too far the other way. He's gone too far defensive.
So our cricket's a great game, isn't it? You know, it's so much played in the 6 inches of field between the ears, isn't it? You know, in terms of when your confidence is down, it's really down. And even the simplest of time, I mean, it's easy for us to sit here and, you know, goodness knows how much distance away and say, oh, we should be doing that. But, you know, when it seems like a harder task when you're out there.
Matt Henry's back. He's only bowled 4 overs so far. Jacques Ali moves across his stumps and dabs him down to deep third. Gets off strike. Lovely evening now in Rawalpindi. You could see lovely pink sky as the sun is going down. You get some lovely sunsets in Pakistan. Beautiful country. You played in Pakistan?
Unfortunately, no, I never got the opportunity. Yeah, it was a bit of a shame that, but yeah, I would have loved the opportunity for sure to compete over there.
Well, big heave from Richard Hossain off the back foot. Just clears mid-on. It was Will O'Rourke running back. Nowhere near the middle of the bat, but at least some intent. Big heave. He was trying to go maybe a little bit squarer than that, and they come back for 2.
I think he's listening to us, Floyd. He's had enough of this blocking malarkey, isn't he? Time to put the foot down. Absolutely. Play to your strengths.
Come on, Richard. More of that.
Absolutely.
We know he's got it in him. Very tall for a Bangladeshi player. He's almost the size of a fast bowler. He goes back to defending. Good length from Matt Henry. Just back of a good length. Richard Hossain cannot manoeuvre the ball away from the bowler. Where are the spaces? So 3 players out on the boundary. Got deep third, deep fine leg, and a deep backward square leg. So there's plenty of spaces. Does he want to try and go up and over the offside? Mid-on and mid-off or up. So Matt Henry doesn't want to bowl too full here. He does, though. Richard comes down the track. Swing and a miss. Tries to go over the offside.
I think the problem is you got Richard in terms of his ball striking. The way the way he sets up initially when Matt Henry's running into bowl, he's very much across all 3 stumps. And when you do that as a batsman, you're literally lining yourself up for mid-wicket exclusively. So you're just looking for that almost perfect slot ball. I think at this stage, maybe think about coming a little bit more leg side, so you can then got you a little bit freer to hit the ball over the offside and straight.
Good bit of fielding by Glenn Phillips, a backward point. Ball is driven out to him. Tumbles, 3 dot balls in a row now. Got 1 ball left of Matt Henry's 5th over. He'll be one of closing it out when he want to make sure you don't get hit for a boundary the last ball. Bowlers find that very annoying, don't they?
Yeah, and especially because Matt Henry's such an experienced bowler, he's not going to give you those slot balls too often. He'll probably run up and bowl one. Now I've said that, but
there's a ball in the slot. Richard Hossain dispatches it over mid-on. One bounce ball.
Why is it always me?
Perfect timing as well, Carbs, because you're going to have a break now.
yeah, I think a good one to end on.
Go and sit down and think about what you said. You've got 10 overs for it. 40 overs gone. Bangladesh up to 172 for 6. That wasn't a good ball by Matt Henry. It was in the slot, and Richard Hossain didn't really middle that delivery at all. He just got enough on it to get it over the infield. So a confidence booster for him. He's up to 7 off 13 balls. Bangladesh 10 overs left. What can they get? If they go at 8 and over, they can get up to 252, which, as Roshan Alam rejoins me, I think you would take that now, wouldn't you, Roshan? You said 300 a while ago, but
Yeah.
that's long gone.
Yeah, that seems slightly out of reach now, doesn't it? Ever so slightly.
Here's Santner. Jaka backs away and then moves the other way and tickles fine on the leg side. Good bit of play. There's a chase on for the fielder at deep backward square leg, Matt Henry. Maybe could have got 3, and they only get 2.
But these are 2 batters here who know how to play aggressively, can clear the boundary. Particularly Richard only really bats in 1 gear. So I think, 10 overs left. I think the best thing to do is play natural game, really, and get some runs on the board, because at the moment, nowhere near enough to really intimidate New Zealand, nowhere near enough a winnable target. So what have you got to lose at this stage? Just go for it.
Yeah, well, Jaka's the senior man. 23 off 37 off the back of a half century against India. He's in good form. Time for him to push his strike rate up. Flighted nicely by Santner, driven down the ground by Jaka for a single, which brings Richard on strike. Richard Hossain strikes me as a player could become a bit of a cult hero in Bangladesh. How is he seen? I mean, there aren't many leggies, for example, really, over the years that have been produced by Bangladesh, and he's so aggressive with the bat as well, as Santner comes in for the 3rd ball. Oh, that is sweetly struck by Richard Hossain. He plays a few more shots like that, he will be a cult hero. That goes over Carl Jamieson at long on. for a big 6.
Phenomenal stuff from Rishad Hossain. He is entertaining to watch, this young man. I mean, like you say, leg spinners don't really get it going in Bangladesh, and he was overlooked quite a lot in the domestic circuit, but find himself in the team. He's bowled really well, made a mark at the last T20 World Cup, and doing that with a bat is making him perk a lot of interest up with franchise leagues across the world. He was offered a contract with Hobart Hurricanes. Unfortunately, he couldn't take it.
Well bowled by Santner. This was hung outside the off stump. All of the pace was taken out of it. Rishad throws his hand, takes one hand off the bat, and just pokes it in the air through the offside. A bit lucky, really, the batter, but he will pick up a couple of runs.
Yeah, he was offered a contract by Hobart, but couldn't do it because it clashed with the Bangladesh Premier League. But he's a very exciting player, and I think he could be a big global name for Bangladesh.
This time he tries to heave again to the leg side, but doesn't middle it, and Jameson does the fielding, gets a single. Just saw a graphic come up on the screen there that showed that Mitchell Santner has actually turned the ball the most in this competition so far of any of the spinners, which is interesting. It's been harder for him today, not much on offer here. Dot ball to end the over. Defensive prod from Jaka, but a good one for Bangladesh. They need more of that, really. 184 for 6.
Yeah, they're going to need a lot more of that there to put on a target. I think it's a tendency in Bangladesh cricket sometimes just to try and see out the 50 overs as if there's some credit in that, but that then gets mocked. You know, people say Bangladesh are trying to save the test match, you know, which is not how you want to be perceived in one-day cricket. So 184 for 6, 9 overs to go. They need to try and go for 8 and over, really. There's no other way around it. There's no point just batting it out. These two players don't naturally play very defensively. They go for shots, as we've seen with Rishad Hossain. So I think they just need to stick in the 5th gear and go for it, really. Whatever happens, do or die.
You mentioned the Bangladeshi fans, that there is a high expectancy, isn't there, amongst the fans in Bangladesh. It's one of the best places to watch cricket, I think. The atmosphere is amazing, particularly in Mirpur. Here's Henry. Well played, actually, by Rishad. Made room and then just played a late cut down to deep third for a single. But the expectations are very high, aren't they? They don't want their team to just exist. They expect their team to win, even against sides that you would say would be ranked higher.
100%. I mean, there's always sort of management of expectations and realistic sort of calls of what to expect, but that will always bubble over as you go into an ICC tournament, because there's always that hope and ambition. You know, you never know when it happens in 3 games.
Another single down to third man, this time Jaka. But the passion is incredible. I think, actually, I would argue that it's amongst the best atmospheres I've ever seen when I saw Bangladesh beat India in a pumping, pulsating Shere Bangla Stadium in Mirpur. It was stunning, really, really loud.
Really loud. They're fascinating stadiums as well, sort of concrete bowls that you don't really see anymore, do you? Very kind of old school style. Sort of sound just resonates.
Down the track, it's Rishad. He goes up and over cover.
Not
right out the screws. As Ravindra comes round and deep cover, and they're going to pick up 2. But more signs of aggression from the big leg spinner.
Yeah, good intent there from Rishad. I would need to see more of that. He's not quite clear in the boundaries. Slightly longer boundaries than he would have played out during the Bangladesh Premier League. They brought the boundaries in a little bit during that tournament to sort of boost the scores and make it look more entertaining on TV. But obviously, you've got some 70, 80-odd ones here. So slightly harder to get those boundaries, but that's exactly what we need to see from these two lads.
The crowd is just building up now. It's getting towards the end of the working day in Rawalpindi. First game there, actually, of this Champions Trophy. So good opportunity for the fans there to take in some cricket. And he's building up slowly. We expect a few more to come in under the lights. Thick edge, and it's going to go for 4. Played off the back foot by Rishad Hossain. The runs are relatively flowing now. He was trying to go up and over point, but he'll take that.
He has come to entertain here, hasn't he, today, Rishad Hossain? He has that run rate for a reason, that strike rate for a reason. Doesn't often stay at the crease very long, but while he's there, my word, is it entertaining, and he's doing the same, giving the crowd something to cheer about this afternoon.
Yeah, you really can see how he is going to develop into a real fan favourite. Maybe not even just in Bangladesh, but around some of the other leagues, because of the way that he plays. Everyone loves a wrist spinner as well. If you can combine that with some big hitting. He's got a very wide stance here full toss, low full toss, which is driven just short of Santner at mid-off.
Yeah, he just has everything that you want in sort of franchise cricket, T20 league. Someone who can bat aggressively, clear the boundary. A leg spinner, obviously useful to have in your armoury, and just entertaining to watch. That is exactly what they want. And I think he's got a PSL contract. I've spoken to his agent a couple of times, and there seems to be interest generating in Rishad Hossain. The hurdle is fitting it all in and getting those NOCs from the BCB with all the international cricket.
Banged in short by Henry. This is laced off the back foot, but straight to deep point for 1. So decent over for Bangladesh. Goes for 9. 8 overs to go. And Bangladesh 193 for 6. What can they get up to? Well, to talk you through the conclusion of this innings is going to be Nikesh Rugani after a few words from Roshan.
Well, Bangladesh were definitely set back during those middle overs. I thought New Zealand bowled particularly well. They took wickets, they choked the run flow. But Bangladesh find themselves in the last 8 overs in this match. They've got 2 very aggressive batters in the crease, and 193 for 6 after 42. They need to be eyeing up 250. It's going to be difficult to do. Yeah, it's going to be high-risk cricket. They're going to have to go to clear their ropes as many times as they can. They may lose their wickets in the process, but there's only one way to play now. There's no other point in trying to bat out the 50 overs with a low 200 score here against this New Zealand side. They need to go for it. Full blast and aim for 250 minimum.
Well, they could well get there now after this little cameo from Rishad Hossain. He's got the fans dancing in the stands of Rawalpindi. Lots of those 6 cards being waved around. We might see a couple more if Rishad continues his stay at the crease. Looks like Jakar Ali is just having some treatment from the physio. And a new bat brought out to him as well. Maybe the slogging bat.
Yeah, why not? Why not? Yeah, Jakar Ali, well, it's battered a lot for Bangladesh in the last few days, so...
Does that happen at North Enfield when you sort of, getting into that late stage of the innings, they wheel out one of your 4 bats? Usually only happens in club cricket when you break a bat and you've got to borrow one of them.
Yeah, it's not happened to me yet, funnily enough. Never at the crease long enough, if I'm honest.
Santner to bowl his final over. He's in here to Rishad. He fires one in straight. There's an appeal for LBW, but there's not a lot that looked right about that. Bit of edge, probably heading way down the leg side.
I think an ambitious call from Santner. I think he knew it. Final over, no wickets yet. He's been fairly expensive, so we're looking to try and get something out of this final 5 balls.
Santner floats one wide of the off stump, tries to tempt Rishad, who does manage to drive it to long off, but only for a single. It's the most exciting partnership of the match, 31 from 31. When you're talking about a runner-ball partnership being the most explosive of an ODI innings, tells you quite a bit about the innings. Sweep shot from Jakar into a vacant mid-wicket area. It will just be the 1. Maybe they should have pushed for 2. There's a bit of confusion between the 2 fielders converging on that ball. As it is, they will settle for the single. The crowd getting into it as well. Chance of Rishad, or we want 6. Can't quite make out. Well, he does go for a big shot down the ground to long off. It bounces just short of the fielder on the rope. And it will just be another 1.
Yeah, it's a very long boundary down that side of the pitch. And he's going for it, but not necessarily connecting cleanly, which means slightly lofted shots, but hitting the ground well short of the field around the boundary.
Oh, Santner just about to deliver that ball, and Jakar has spotted something behind the bowler's arm. Tends to happen a lot at certain grounds, depending on where the spectators are in relation to the sight screen. Next ball is flicked around to short fine leg. It will be a dot ball. Matt Henry quickly onto that. He's in Kolkata for the 2023 ODI World Cup, and just below where the commentary positions are is the clubhouse. Next ball defended away by Jakar, who is down on one knee. He's just tying a shoelace in between overs.
This is unusual sight. Normally, after every match, there's always a picture of someone from the fielding side tying up the batter's laces with the caption "Spirit of Cricket." But
That's right.
Jacarelli not getting in on the action, doing his own laces today there.
I mean, he was pretty quickly onto it. He didn't bother sort of looking around for any sympathy or anything.
I wonder if there's an international signal of loose shoelace. Sort of shake your foot around and hope one of the fielders comes towards
Wink
you.
at somebody, shake your shoe, and out they come. But yeah, back to the behind the bowler's arm. So there's the clubhouse in Kolkata, which is basically the posh seats. There's two levels to the clubhouse. The one which surrounds the commentary box, which is the slightly less posh, still quite expensive, but not quite as posh, but a good view and everything. And then you've got the place where the likes of Sourav Ganguly sit when they're in Kolkata. As Matt Henry begins a new over into Rishad, that's been launched over cover. In fact, it's not cleared the field. Mitch Santner running back from mid-off takes the catch. And New Zealand will breathe a sigh of relief there, because Rishad Hossain was doing a bit of damage towards the back end of this innings. But he's on his way for 26 from 25. Another clever bit of bowling, just keeping it out of the arc of Rishad, getting him to stretch out towards the offside and getting off the toe end of the bat in the end.
I mean, that's a very Rishad Hossain innings, 26 off 25, so slightly lower strike rate than the usual 104 only today. But yeah, he was toying with that sort of area, clearing the inner ring, but landing somewhere in that outside the New Zealand's got the better of him there. So a good cameo innings from Rishad Hossain. That's the expectation for him in this team, to come and score quickly towards the end. Unfortunately for Bangladesh, not much has happened before him, and there's still another 7 odd overs to go.
Yeah, 196 for 7 then in the 44th over. So Bangladesh in danger of being bowled out inside the 50 overs. Taskin Ahmed in at number 9. So yeah, back to the clubhouse. So there was a match. I did a couple of matches there. One of them was India-South Africa, where Kohli got his 49th ODI century to equal Sachin Tendulkar's record, and then obviously he went on to beat that during that World Cup. But it was a Pakistan match. I can't remember who they were playing against, so it wasn't a completely full crowd, still a very good crowd. The clubhouse was full, and I think Pakistan were batting. Batter pulls away to say, oh, hang on, somebody's standing up. This is literally just above the sight screen. Right at the top of the sight screen is the first row, basically. So you've got to be seated and you've got to be still at that point in time. There was a bloke just standing there as Henry's in to Taskin, defended into the leg side, no run. And he was just having a conversation with a couple of people just before he went to his seat. And there was no rush. I mean, play stopped for about 2 minutes. He got signaled to sit down, what are you doing, sit down. And he kind of looked round at the steward/guard of that area of the clubhouse, and as if to say, do you know how much I've paid for this seat? Do you know who I am? Matt Henry's in. Again, defended by Taskin into the leg side for no run. And literally, there was just like a 2.5 minute delay while this guy finished his conversation and then found his seat. It's mad, isn't it?
Did we ever find out who he was?
We didn't find out who he was, but he wasn't a celebrity.
I was expecting a punchline.
Not one that I knew, anyway. Didn't look like a former cricketer. Just
taking his
somebody time. Paid a lot of money for a ticket and said, I'm going to do what I want to do. I've paid my money. If I want to have a chat, I'll have a chat. That's wide down the leg side from Henry, and a fumble from Tom Latham. A difficult chance, though. He's diving way to his right down the leg side. So some extras onto the total. It ran through for 1 as well as the wide. So a couple more onto the total. 198 for 7 in the 44th over. The police love getting in on the action at these big matches, don't they? These big tournaments in places like Pakistan and India and Bangladesh as well. There's lots of police presence, obviously, within the grounds for security reasons. But they also have executive boxes as well given to police as Jacko defends the next ball to mid-off for no run. The box that we were in Eden Gardens, actually, the next door box, was reserved for the Commissioner of Police.
Is that right?
So the first match, it was a Pakistan versus somebody other than India, so it wasn't full. There was like 4 or 5 police officers in there in their uniforms, technically on duty, but enjoying the cricket. having lots of cups of tea and pakoras. The next one is punched off the back foot by Jacker, out towards deep extra cover, and Ravindra can't cut it off. He'll be disappointed with that. Usually a very good fielder, managed to make up the ground to his right, put in the dive, but kind of got himself a little bit tangled in the dive and fumbled it across the rope. So 4 valuable runs there for Bangladesh. That's the 200 up as well for them in the 44th over.
Yeah, did everything right there, didn't he? Slid in beautifully. The hand movements were in place just right at the end. Just went past the fingers and into the sponge.
Didn't create that barrier horizontally diving, did he? Kind of dived and was almost vertical in his shape towards the rope, so didn't have any backup if he missed the flick with his hands, which he did. His legs weren't there to stop the ball. Henry, final ball of the over into Jacker. It's defended into the leg side. That's what New Zealand want. They want Taskin on strike, which he will be for the start of the 45th over. Bangladesh 202 for 7. You can imagine what that police box was like for India versus South Africa.
Oh my word.
At Eden Gardens.
What a lovely time.
Their families were in.
Really?
Their uncles, aunties, second cousins, third cousins.
A work experience with the police, or?
I don't know what it was, but yeah, technically I guess that was the reason given. And yeah, I mean, they had like waiters bringing them fresh plates of food and drinks and tea and all sorts. We had to have a guard actually because we had Carlos Brathwaite with us.
Did you? Yeah, of course.
For that, and we had 2 security guards for Eden Gardens because the way up and down he had a bit of stuff to do. He had an ICC commitment because obviously he was an ambassador for one of the matches, having performed heroics at Eden Gardens in 2016. O'Rourke begins his 9th over, round the wicket here to Taskin. It's past the outside edge and there's no run. So yeah, luckily the security guard was making sure that these police officers' families weren't coming into our box and nicking
your snacks.
Snacks
no,
and
wouldn't want that.
our fridge full of cold beverages as well. Or just having a seat at the back of our box, as some of them tried to do, and our security guys taking no nonsense.
Brilliant.
He's a big lad. You don't want to mess with him. Somebody came up for an autograph, not mine,
from you,
unfortunately. No, it's Carlos. And that's another one outside off, this time left alone by Taskin, outside off. Carlos doesn't usually mind taking selfies with, you know, the odd fan. If there's hundreds of them, it's difficult to get through everyone when you've got work commitments and things. But we were heading out to our team minibus, our BBC team minibus, and the security guard was there walking in front of us. And a guy came up and said, "Sir, one selfie, please." And before he finished the word "please," this security officer just pushed him in the chest.
Oh, bless.
Which wasn't very nice, as O'Rourke is in, and that's been chipped in the air, but just short of the fielder there at short mid-wicket.
It is relentless, isn't it? It is relentless when you're a player. Like, I've seen videos of, like, Shanto walking from the net to his car, and it's non-stop, and it's sort of almost thankless because people obviously want their selfie, and they're off. There's no real human interaction. It's selfie gone, selfie gone.
I mean, when India are playing anywhere in the world, really, but particularly in India, there are literally thousands of people camped outside their hotel. Some people will book the same hotel and pay extortionate amounts of money just to be in the same hotel as the Indian team, to get a glimpse, to get a selfie or whatever it might be with any of the players. Another defensive shot there from Taskin into the leg side. 4 dot balls from O'Rourke in this over. This is exactly what New Zealand wanted. Taskin on strike, dry things up, and hopefully take a wicket.
Yeah, it's really taken the fizz out of Bangladesh. I mean, he's to bat, actually, ironically. But, yeah, it's taken the steam out of Bangladesh's innings here, really. T50 looked like it could be on when Jacker and Rashad were at the crease, but with Rashad gone, it's dot ball after dot ball with Taskin.
Can Taskin get the next one away? No, he can't. He ducks underneath a short ball through to Tom Latham. No run.
I think Bangladesh will be disappointed to not have been competitive today. Yes, they had a good start compared to the collapse against India, but they struggled through those middle overs, which is where they got their runs with Tawhid and Jacker Ali during the last game. But today, New Zealand just got the better of them, were able to take wickets, were able to choke the run flow, and Bangladesh have never really recovered.
Well, the pitch in Dubai is a lot more similar to what they're probably used to in home conditions, aren't they? Bit of turn, a little bit tacky at times. O'Rourke has bowled a maiden as that one's defended into the leg side. 45th over of an ODI innings, and Will O'Rourke has just bowled a maiden, and he's not done anything special really, just kept it on a spot, and Taskin unable to get him away.
Yeah, New Zealand have bowled well, but not, like I say, not done anything particularly special. I think Bangladesh have just not been able to apply themselves particularly well. Their middle order didn't fire today. It's unfortunate that they're able to get going where their top order and the middle order are able to all contribute. It's either, it seems to be one or the other at the moment, and in the end just left too much for the lower order to do, to be honest.
And what is a much better batting pitch, it has to be said, than the one in Dubai, which is strange because that is Bangladesh's strength, isn't it, really? The middle overs just accumulating rather than power hitting. They've been unable to do that. And the fall of, I guess, regular wickets has not helped. Matt Henry begins a new over. He's been pulled by Jacker out to a vacant mid-wicket area, and that's good running as the pair get back for a couple of runs to keep Jacker Ali on strike. They need him to face as much of these last few overs as possible. Jacker Ali, half centurion from the first game. Currently beaten on 32 from 47.
Appears to be chewing gum as well, Jacker Ali, which I think is...
It's very Viv Richards, isn't it?
Yeah.
Henry, wide of off stump. That's been punched off the back foot, punched well into the gap out towards deep extra cover, but it will just be a single.
They say it can help the focus sometimes, chewing gum. I wonder if that's helping him today.
Everyone's got their own little quirks, haven't they?
Indeed.
Mannerisms. Don't know where to begin with the likes of Steve Smith and Marnus Labuschagne. You got anything playing for North Enfield?
Sometimes back with my sunglasses.
With your sunglasses?
Yeah, I've got prescriptions in them, but it's quite good against the sun as well.
Yeah, well, that's pretty good. It's not a superstition or anything, it's a requirement, I guess, more than anything. Oh, Taskin does get off the mark with a chip towards long on. That's a useful single there, 206 for 7 in the 46th over. Always have to put my left pad on first.
Do you?
It's not really a superstition because obviously it doesn't work every time, but it's just, I don't know, I just don't feel right if I put my right pad on first.
That's fair. When did that start? As long as you can remember?
Yeah, probably teenager, even before that actually, probably like 11, something like that. Jacker unable to get the next delivery away through the offside. Gets a bit of an under edge on it. Walks away in frustration. A couple of balls left in this over, so he could do with getting back down the other end, or at least finding the boundary if he can. 45.4 overs gone. 206 for 7.
They're struggling to get anything away at the moment, Bangladesh.
It's ones and twos at the moment, which won't hurt New Zealand one bit. He does square up in his stance, and that should go to the boundary. In fact, it clears the boundary out towards cow corner and nearly into some of those police officers that we were talking about, just beyond the boundary rope. That's a lovely hit there from Jacker Ali, just squared up in his stance, opened up the leg side, moved his front foot out the way, and cross-batted it straight out of the screws.
Yeah, beautiful shot. Quite a low-hanging six there. Didn't look like it was going to go all the way, but just caught enough flight to see itself over the rope and the advertising barriers from Jacker Ali. Much needed.
The police officers do get the best views, don't they? I mean, just beyond the boundary rope, they've got a table set up and everything.
Absolutely. I thought they would be faced towards the crowd like you get stewards at football.
Yeah, no, I think they've got stewards to do that job. They're just overseeing, aren't they? They're more of a management role, isn't it? Yeah. It's like my daughter when we moved house just over the weekend. She had a management role in everything.
Oh,
she said
her.
she helped, but I said it was more of a management role there. Next ball pulled away out towards the leg side into a big open gap, and Taskin wanted two. Jacker said, "No, mate, I want the strike."
Which makes sense. I mean, good to see the initiative from Tuscan, but I think ultimately in the 47th over, you do want Jacker Rally on strike, don't you? Here's where your runs are going to come from.
Yep, Jacker on to 40 from 51. 213 for 7, Bangladesh. 4 overs left in the innings. Can they see out the 50 overs? It's looking like they possibly will. Nice crowd in now as well, making lots of noise. G'd on by the MC.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know what I make of MCs, but in a slightly empty stadium, you think, okay, fine. Maybe in a dull situation like we saw earlier on in this innings, but India Pakistan yesterday, do you need an MC at any?
No,
you surely don't. Come on, I mean, really?
I mean, I guess there's a difference between an MC and a stadium announcer. You'd sometimes want a bowler change announced, don't you?
Yeah, that's fine.
That's fine.
That's fine. I mean, to be honest, no one's really paying attention to those types of things at India-Pakistan match, are they? Wide down the leg side, and it's 5 wides from O'Rourke, whose radar has been very, very off today. It was a horrible delivery. It was way down. No chance for Tom Latham at all, who's been worked pretty hard throughout this innings. He's stopped quite a few of those balls down the leg side, got a glove to it, got fingertips to it. 5 valuable runs there for Bangladesh, free of charge.
That score just edging towards sort of 230, 240 again. Probably not enough on the board. Definitely not enough on the board, in fact, I'd say.
218 for 7. O'Rourke tries once more. He's been dabbed away to short third by Jacker for a single. So Jacker trusting Tuskin here towards the back end of the innings.
Yeah, it's a good exercise for Jackarelli as well. Relatively new to the team, young batter. Against India, he had Tawhid Hridoy as a kind of more experienced person to lean on, take advice from. But for these sort of final 5, 6, 7 overs, he's having to show his experience, his leadership, and guide Tuskin. Although Tuskin is the more experienced player, Jacker's obviously the more skillful batter, and so I think Tuskin will lean on Jacker for a little bit of guidance on what to do here, and that's great experience for the young lad.
O'Rourke then round the wicket to the left-handed Tuskin, who I don't know what kind of attempted shot that was. It was a big shot attempted through the offside. Just trying to slay it away, cross-batted over point somewhere. Plays and misses. Dot ball.
Always entertaining to see Tuskin going for it. He has been practicing his batting in the nets, it's been said, of late, but obviously not quite got the technique down. I think he got frustrated at just turning up and being bowled out almost immediately, old Tuskin.
219 for 7 then in the 47th over. He backs away, does Tuskin, launches this high in the air, down the ground, and whoa, almost all the way for 6. I thought for a moment that had gone straight up and somebody was going to run and plonk themselves under it to take the catch, but he's timed that pretty well. It was quite low down on the bat by the looks of it, but he got a big chunk of it, and well, Tuskin getting in on the boundary action.
There you go, that batting practice paying off immediately. I mean, it wasn't the cleanest of shots. It's almost have a face of the bat upwards, towed it, and just went very high in the air. I thought it was going to be a catch, but it lands millimetres inside the rope for 4. So Tuskin getting in on the action there.
80 metres that boundary as well, and it nearly hit that boundary sponge on the full. How does O'Rourke respond? He goes short of a length, and Tuskin backs away, but doesn't get any bat on it. Lots of replica shirts in the crowd as well. I say replica, meaning not from the official merchandisers.
Yeah, they are hard to get hold of sometimes.
Yeah. Street sellers have a field day at some of these big ICC events.
Yeah, it's quite difficult to get the official replica T-shirts sometimes in Bangladesh. They change them so frequently as well that, sometimes I'll buy one and then months later, there's a new design.
There's quite a few New Zealand ones in the crowd as well, which is good to see. That's a short ball down the leg side. He did back away a long way towards the leg side task, and he ducks underneath it, and it's not been signalled wide. I think that's probably just about fair enough given how far he backed away down the leg side. O'Rourke followed him.
Yeah, what a stance. It was almost, what stump would that be on? 9th?
At least.
Yeah.
And it went over his shoulder as well, his right shoulder, the left-hander. Final ball of this 47th over. Final ball of O'Rourke's spell is short again. Taskin backs away, doesn't get anything on that. And that's a good comeback after being hit for 4 down the ground, but a good over nonetheless for Bangladesh. 10 from it, including that 5 wides to start it off. 223 for 7, 3 overs remaining. Maybe 250s on here, Roshan.
Yeah, potentially. The run rate's crept up a little bit to sort of 6 and over in the last 5. So, I mean, Bangladesh in the death overs, you probably want something closer to 8, 9, 10. But I think they'll take 6, given they were trundling along around about 3, 3.5 and over for much of this innings. But just need to finish positively here, Bangladesh. They know they're nowhere near a sort of target they would have talked about before the game, but still got 3 good overs to go. Just need to capitalise on these last 18 balls and put as much as you can on the board.
It's going to be Jakar Ali back on strike. 41 from 52. Just examining the field, seeing where those scoring opportunities are. Carl Jamieson to begin the spell. Been cut away out towards deep point. It will just be a single. Taskin getting lots of advice from the other end, from his batting partner, Jakar Ali, who's a man in form at the moment.
Yeah, he's done well. That's got that half century in the first game, dug in really deep with Dawid Hridoy to save the innings, and once again has batted quite a lot today, probably longer than he's batted in his ODI career over the last 2 games, I imagine. Just saw a split screen of Carl Jamieson's bowling action from front on from the 2021 World Test Championship final. And today, the one noticeable or 2 noticeable differences. Firstly, doesn't jump as high before he delivers the ball. That's been chipped in the air over point by Taskin. It's running away towards the boundary. There's a chase on, and it is eventually cut off by Bracewell. Get back for 3 in the end. That's really good running from the Bangladeshis. Yeah, really good running. It was a shot I wasn't expecting Taskin to play. He really had to lunge forward to try and meet it. I thought I'd just let it go and hope it was called a wide, but ran the risk and ran 3 good runs for Bangladesh. Good stuff from Taskin. So Jamieson, 130 for 7 in the 48th over. He's only been out there 55 balls. Come on, Roger. A long time. Nearly 10 overs of balls, plus the ones he didn't face, you know. It's tiring, you know, backing up over and over and over again. What? These are international cricketers. 55 ball innings is not a long time in, what, 15-degree heat. Jamieson in. That one bounces, and it's been chipped just over his head by Taskin. It was tantalising for Carl Jamieson. Well, if anyone was going to grab onto that, it would be the 6'7" frame of Carl Jamieson, but just lobbed him, didn't it? Yeah, it went up in the air for a long time before Jamieson thought, hang on, this might be coming down a bit closer to me than I was expecting at first, because the initial trajectory was a lot higher looking, but yeah, it came down meters from Jamieson by the time he reacted and realised it was already hit the ground. 230 for 7 still. Next one has been swatted back over Jamieson's head. It's not going to get to the boundary. Santner with the fielding, but it was just back away, and like it was swatting a fly, wasn't it? 48 overs gone, 231 for 7. Taskin Ahmed, I'll have a bit of that. I'll retain the strike at the start of the 49th over. We've seen some unconventional shots played in the last few overs. With varying results, some making the boundaries, some not. But these are actually fair to them, having generally quite good in the field today. They've really cut out a few loose shots and done quite well on the boundary to reduce those boundaries. Chip over the head of Carl Jamieson as well. It was a bit like Philip Albert against Peter Schmeichel all those years ago at St James's Park, for those of you that remember that far back. 2 overs left then. Can they get another 19 runs to get to that 250 mark? You'd think it wouldn't be enough against this New Zealand side the way they're playing, but it's
little psychological boost for Bangladesh nonetheless. Henry is in, and they're going to run through for a bye. There's a direct hit. I think Jakar Ali might be struggling here. He pulls out the dive, but Tom Latham, with a quick bit of glove work there, a few high fives in the New Zealand camp, and Jakar Ali still down on his knees. I think he knows that this is going to be potentially curtains for him.
Yeah, I think that could be timeout. He's also looked like he's struggling a little bit. He's sort of been crunched down whenever he can. He's down on his knees now.
Let's have a look. Oh, he's not even in the frame.
We have a umpire review.
He's long gone. I get the intent behind that. They just wanted Jakar to face as many of these deliveries as possible, but game awareness, just don't take the single off the last ball of the previous over.
Yeah, it was an unnecessary run. And Jakar Ali, the last recognised batter for Bangladesh, is out.
Yeah, really
He is, and he's played a very good innings here, 45 from 55. A brilliant piece of work from Tom Latham.
Gone for 45 and 55 deliveries. It's 231 for 8.
The all-new Sabroso Spicy Chicken Donut, King of the Ring.
आज ही डालो शेल एडवांस जिसकी जदीद टेक्नोलॉजी इंजन की करे भरपूर हिफाजत पिकअप दमदार स्मूथ हर बार
Xiaomi.
खस्ता जीरा से बना पीक फ्रेंड्स क्लिक बिस्किट जीरा जो क्लिक करे
इसके बगैर मैच no lives, no game.
Swing that new ball.
The initial trajectory was a lot.
Pick up a few
higher,
valuable
and then
runs
he,
late in the
came
piece, though.
down meters from Jameson. By the time
Probably
he
had to
reacted,
go for
he
this, Matthew
realised
Hayden. Had to try.
hit the ground.
One of the issues, and I had a freeze frame on his backing up a little earlier in the Bangladesh innings, and wasn't a great lot.
Needing target at 237, just not enough. I don't think New Zealand are going to be bothered by that at all. There was so much talk about 300, excuse me, as a sort of pass score, but in the end, Bangladesh just didn't get anywhere close to looking like a team who were going to score that. They stumbled in the middle overs after a decent start, didn't get enough runs on the board. New Zealand took the wickets where they needed to, and in the end, the Bangladesh innings sort of fizzled away and never recovered.
Yep, another good innings from Jakar Ali, who had a good time of it against India in that first match with that half century. Didn't quite get to the half century this time, 45 from 55, but it was Nazmul Hossain Shanto who top scored, promoting himself to the top of the order, making 77, a patient 77 off 110 balls. Tanzid Hassan was involved in that good opening stand between the two. He made 24 at a run a ball. Good contribution from Rishad Hussain down the order, 26 from 25.